I heard diarrhea is hereditary.
What?
I think that was a non sequitur.
It runs in your genes.
You're an idiot.
We're trying to
I
change.
got you guys, though. Both of you guys is quiet
Hey,
down
check
real
those
quick.
show notes.
It's the vibrator.
We're going to be spoiling some books. Is that it?
What?
That was pretty close.
Pretty much, yeah. Sean and I talked outside of the show. And we decided to do vaudeville style humor for the rest of the series.
Right.
Get the hook. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superpro 33.
I'm Craig Prof Dresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
How is everybody?
Good.
Good.
I'm happy to report I think last episode sounded okay.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't get any bad feedback.
That's because nobody listened.
Well, that's the unfortunate side effect
I
of that.
listened to it. I
You're not supposed
listened.
to-
That's
Thanks,
the benefit.
Dick.
That's the good side effect of it. You don't get any bad feedback.
You're not supposed to point out that that's why we didn't hear anything back. Luckily, nobody's hearing this. So it doesn't matter.
It all works.
Anyway, though, everything seems to be okay in the new studio.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Studio
No,
North.
That's copyrighted.
Studio North.
Sorry. Okay, well, let's tag another word
Yeah.
on. Is it hyphenated?
No.
All one word.
No, it's not one word. It's two words.
And when I
Studio
type it
North.
out,
I
it'll
gotta talk
be
to my
one word.
lawyer,
PN.
Sean.
Yeah.
PSN.
That's continuity there for you.
That does work.
Oh,
out.
no, I
Yeah.
can't do PSN, though. I don't think. Ugh.
That works.
Studio. I can't even remember what I'm saying. Regardless, how is everybody?
Pretty
It'd
good.
be PRN,
I don't know.
Public Radio North.
No, I don't think that works.
No.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Yep.
All right.
How are you?
I'm all right. Thanks for asking, Craig.
Wet.
Appreciate it. Nice to get. Why you say wet?
Yeah.
I don't. Well, it's been
Is it-
raining
is it
here.
my
We should
new
clarify.
outfit?
No, it is your
We should clarify. It's been raining a lot today.
Oh, gross.
Yes. Let's not even talk about it. So
It was looking over at Craig, and it was the hand
I know.
motions. It was the
know.
outfit. And at first I'm like, that's not too bad. And then I look, I'm like, oh.
we have so many games to talk about. We don't have time for this shit.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think we did anything but this shit.
I know. Like,
I was cracking that whip.
Craig joins in the fun, and then you're like, no, you
No.
can't do it. This
That's
is
what threw it all off.
no
The
fun.
dynamic
I've
is
upset the
ruined.
balance.
It's ruined. Everything.
The yin and the yang have reformed
Yep,
in a
that's
different
right.
direction.
All right. So, what do we got to talk about, gentlemen? Game wise.
I got a few indie games. Not a ton. A lot of indie games came out, but there wasn't a lot that actually caught my eye.
Nothing memorable.
Not particularly. I actually did not try out every XBLA offering. that came out
Nice.
in the past
You
2 weeks.
limited yourself?
I did not try out Doritos Crash Course 2.
Oh, I
Or-
did. But
of course
we
you
can
did.
talk about
Or
that.
what was it, Cabela's Trophy Hunting or something?
That's right.
like
That did come
Oh, that did. I didn't download that.
What?
I don't have a
What?
gun.
What?
I
Don't
have
tell
a gun
people that.
rack, but
You don't even own a gun. All right, anyway.
But I did try out some other games. Also, demo for Resident Evil Revelations.
yes.
Oh, I didn't know there was a demo out for it.
Yep.
I played the full game.
That's why I ran.
did you?
Yeah.
That's why I ran to the.
I thought you were talking about the demo when we were
No,
chatting.
no,
I
I-
ran to the rental store after I played the demo. I was like, busting down the wall.
You probably played more in the demo than I played in the full game.
Probably.
But we'll see when it gets to it. I can
That's
maybe
funny.
mix them together, even.
I know how it goes, so I'll be able to say yes.
Awesome.
Disc-wise, I got a chance to try out Metro Last Light.
Yay. And
Very
then I
excited
played
about
some Resident Evil Revelations, like you
Right.
said. Also, Sean and I finally got some Dead Island Riptide
Yes.
time in. I spent a lot more time with the game outside of our co-op, even.
I saw that. You guys forgot to pretend you were offline.
No, I went online for that.
We wanted
was
to
okay.
show off.
I didn't hide. Yeah, we were showing off. Showing off that we really play once in a while together. That we communicate outside of this show.
Although our characters were just sitting there against walls, going up and down, and
Were you
So I
teabagging
was-
in the corners of the
a
wall?
little bit.
I was crouching in front of a dude while Sean was looking around. That's how we play, kids. That's how we play.
Yeah.
Call of Juarez, Gunslinger came out on XBLA.
yes.
I bought that and am loving that. Monaco, I have a little bit more to say on that, and
Okay.
that's it for me.
I got quite a few in the indie place.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
About 5 little
Whoa.
games there.
Wow, that is a lot.
All 80 pointers.
Who do you think you are, Craig?
I know. Look out.
The balance is completely upset now.
I tried the Fuse demo.
Wait, does that make me... if you're me now...
Yes.
Wait, and you're me. Who am I? Am I both of you? Jesus fucking Christ.
Well-
this sucks.
We combined.
I got the worst
When
job.
you work at when it's a Triforce,
It's the most amazing.
it can't work that well.
All right.
I tried the Resident Evil Revelations demo and the disc game, so I can chime in on both.
You are our bridge, Sean.
Yes. And then I saw Fast and Furious Showdown on the shelves, and I was like, I was in the mood for a driving game. So
You
I
just came out of
tried
the
it
theater
out.
watching Fast 6,
No.
whatever it's called.
No, I don't. Is that even out yet?
I think yesterday it came out.
Oh.
But keep acting like you don't know. Keep acting like you weren't there Thursday
I
midnight.
wasn't.
Okay.
I haven't even seen Star Trek yet. so.
Okay.
Is that a prerequisite?
It was. If I haven't seen Star Trek, if I'm paying money to see Fast and Furious, someone's got to punch me in the face if I haven't seen.
I didn't
Star
say you
Trek
paid
yet.
money for it.
Right.
Oh, but I don't get coupons.
If somebody offered to go
Coupons?
take you, though, for free, would you go?
No, Fast and Furious. No.
I thought you loved 5.
Well, in the privacy of my own home, I do.
Well, we're not there anymore. You just said that on
I know, but that's
on
what
our
I'm saying.
show.
I don't really. I wouldn't want someone to spend money
Yeah.
to take
That
me.
sends the wrong message.
You know, yeah, exactly. I don't want to be
Like a prostitute.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want people to think, oh, he only likes it if someone's paying for it. You know, I pay that $1 at Redbox to see the FF movies I
Right.
want to see. So.
All right. Is that it for you? Do you have more?
I think that's it.
I'm trying to move on from your Fast and Furious. I can't wait to hear about the game. Sounds awesome.
It's so good.
It sounds great.
It's like intense.
And before we jump into the games, there was some big announcement stuff this last week.
Yeah.
There
It
was Xbox One.
Some.
The reveal of Xbox One.
Sort of.
So I don't think we can. I wouldn't feel right not talking about it.
Sure.
So there's some limited info. There's some conflicting info out there. I think that some of it's been nailed down in the last couple of days, even though we don't have all of the particulars of some of the stuff. What did you guys get to take a look at it first off?
I looked.
At, like
I mean, I followed some of the stuff. I didn't watch the reveal or
Okay.
anything. I read about it afterwards. You know, a lot of stuff about the specs. Specs are very similar to the PS4, which is basically turning it into a small computer.
Right.
It's which is good. You know, if you want that sort of stuff. But I don't know. With no, I mean, they have some rumorings of games and a couple of the ones that you expect coming out.
This was all very
And-
non-game oriented,
Right,
which
and so
was expected by me.
With no
Me
price and no games really talked about,
Yeah.
then I'm not really even bothering to think about making a decision about it one way or the other until there.
Agreed, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know,
And E3's in 2 weeks.
I'm not a specs nerd. You know,
Right.
I'm not going to get a boner over the fact that it's got a big old CPU in there and more graphics.
I just got one.
More
though.
graphics.
They didn't say
More
more
graphics.
graphics. They did not even say more
No.
graphics. I
That's
saw
probably
the
good that they
reveal.
didn't.
I know, but if they did, sure, I'd be on.
I don't know. You know,
Hopefully the PR team's listening right now.
Yeah,
E3
exactly.
is 2 weeks out, so we know
Yeah.
that the game information is
Right,
coming out
of
then,
course
and a
it
lot more
is.
info.
Of course it
I
is.
personally wish that it would have been a full-on just reveal,
Yeah.
and nothing else. Like, here's what it looks like. Here's what it is. We'll be at E3 in 2.5 weeks with a lot more information. Blah blah blah. Thanks for your time. Like, I wish that would have been the case. I think that it was detrimental to the gaming community, quote unquote, to like come out and say, here it is. Also, here's all the non-gaming functions we can do with it.
Yeah.
Because then everybody's just immediately going, what about the games? Not, like we said, the games will be in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll find out that
right.
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But the immediate reaction is going to be that. I just wish they would have showed it and then said, we'll have in a couple weeks and we'll have all this other information.
Well, I mean, they got to do this stuff in stages because the
Yeah.
pricing is going to be the last stage. They
Right.
got to get this. They got to get the the spec nerds and the people who care about all the other peripherals for
Yeah.
it interested first. They want people salivating before they announce the price.
Yeah.
And then there'll be the games, and so then the people will be decide whether or not they're going to get it based off of that coming up, and so. It makes some sense to separate. At least it wasn't a big hodgepodge of here's like 1 minute talking about the games, and here's 1 minute talking about Skype,
like going
Yeah.
back and forth.
interactivity.
Yeah, because it was really just focused on all the non-game
Right.
peripheral stuff, the entertainment center.
Yeah.
It was very
portion.
much the tech reveal of it.
And people online were saying that it's not. I don't use it for that. But I'm sorry, your anecdotal evidence doesn't mean anything to me because I know. I mean, to give you my own anecdotal evidence, I know tons of people that use it as a game, as a entertainment console.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
One of them right here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why anyone was put back by the reveal because I thought this was the next step anyway.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything that was talked about was
Oh, yeah.
something that was keep on happening, progressing, the connect, everything.
The integration,
You
of
know,
everything,
all the
yeah.
apps showing up, all the everything, and I think it's fantastic in that light. I think that's really neat. But at the same time, without, like we've all been saying, without a price point, I'm not going to do anything. And there's some other things I have.
Yeah, the stuff that's come out after the presentation that was like more of the Q&A portion of the things when people were able to actually ask questions, pointed questions about things, and coming out with the the no backwards compatibility. That's an issue for. It's not surprising to me because you're dealing with a completely different machine that works in a different way. And so even with their online games like XBLA and things like that, you're not going to be able to put those onto a new machine necessarily.
Sure.
Yeah,
It'd be nice if they had
was a little disappointing.
some kind of option that would allow them to be ported somehow over to that.
Somehow, yeah.
And if you already had it, be able to unlock that option.
Well, PSN's been trying to do a lot with a lot of their more popular backlog of games through for the PS3. So I wouldn't count it out. And some of the original Xbox games you couldn't port those onto the Xbox 360 either. And those. The more popular ones kind of filtered their way in.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if they made their way over at some point.
I agree.
Or there's something there. Yeah, I mean, it is disappointing. I was reading something online talking about it, and like it's been 7 years plus since the 360 came out, which is maybe one of the longest iterations of a game
this
console generation.
Yeah.
And so, interestingly, that means people have a bigger back catalog of games that they've collected, and so
and you're dealing with a larger group of
more.
Audience that has never experienced having to switch over a system before.
Yeah.
True. That is
because
true.
it's you've had people that have only ever had a 360 probably
That
at
is
this
true.
point.
Yeah.
So
And we've all made the jokes about 360s that they all go red ringed or they all died on us.
They haven't really done much of that.
And
since they got
of
the
late,
new generations.
it's not that
No,
that way. I think I think it looks sexy. I think the box looks nice.
The bigger
I'm
issue-
happy with the way it looks.
the bigger issue to me is that tied to the account thing with games requiring manual installs or mandatory installs of all games, and then it reads it off your synced user ID and only usable on that user ID, which means no swapping games, which means no rental games, which means no used games. Changing that whole landscape as far as to use that, you need to buy another license, which would remove it off the initial license and put it on the new one. And talking about that additional license maybe costing as much as even the full retail version, the cost of that game. Which I can't see them not doing it that way because how do you control it otherwise?
Exactly.
Like somebody buys one game and then passes it around. I mean, it would have to be done that way. It's just that I know we're in a different scenario, but we get some review copies of games, but some we don't. And even those review copies of games we get, we can pass them around between us
Right,
to
so more of us
offer
can
like a
talk.
round
Yeah.
table discussion.
Yeah.
That stuff's going to go away with that new machine if that's the case. Because we can't, you can't buy each game for each of us in an instance just to be able to talk about
signed
it.
in account.
There you go. Like
we could all
like
play
the
off
ID.
Of. Yeah.
That could work. Hey, you never know. Now you're onto something. There you go. And maybe those other workarounds that you have to find out what can happen. So, they did announce that you can take as long as you're logged into the machine, so you can take your ID or your gamer tag over to somebody else's house, log into that machine, and still be able to play that game. But privately, like just saying, hey, take this game and check it out, that seems like a big problem to me.
I think so.
I mean, that's a game change.
They need to have
For
demos on every game they put out available on, just so you could try the game out.
But that's also one side of it, because the other side is looking at it from the game maker standpoint. You're not getting money for those fucking games that are being rented or being sold used or bought used. And so I can also see their point of it, that it's probably good for them when you have a game that is really well done and everybody loves, and it only sells a low number of copies or makes a low number of dollars because they're being bought, sold back, being bought used, and a portion of your audience is playing them that way. That's bad for a game company too.
Well, it depends on how much of that money they see.
That's true, and that's all up in the air too, because there's rumors of it working out where these new used games, system with the Xbox One that Microsoft and the game company are going to be taking a portion of any used game sales.
I'm sure Microsoft's
and thus
going to.
cutting out GameStop and things like that too. So it's weird, and it's a whole weird world that we're walking into, and I don't think we're going to have any of that information until E3 or beyond. So there's a lot of pitfalls for me. So we'll see how it plays out.
I'm in the same boat.
And then the indie dev thing. Did you see the indie developers can't self-publish on the new Xbox One they've announced? So they're getting rid of basically the indie games.
Does that mean they're getting rid of indie games, or is that just saying that it can't work like PCs can?
It means that they would have to have a studio in order to put like XBLA games do in order to put a game out on the Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't do just the indie games where they publish it themselves and put it out there on XBLIG. So that's curious as well. There's also been no announcement of an updated XNA platform for them to make the games on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So that's all up in the air. It sounds like those are going to be going away. So who knows what that all
Which
means.
is interesting.
It's
Monaco was originally built on XNA.
I know, and it's there's a lot of weirdness going on with that. So I don't really know how to feel about it, but I hope that everybody can. I'm trying to remain patient, and see how it all plays out, and reserve my stuff for when we have the information coming from their mouths to the consumers,
right?
And not just getting misconstrued and
Microsoft
around.
Microsoft has always been very tight in their control over their system and what is released on it. Indie games marketplace being maybe the exception there.
The Wild West.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of Wild West for Microsoft.
Pretty much, yeah. Those boom towns of Minecraft clones and zombie games.
Oh my god.
And then they turn into ghost towns after a while. Yeah, that's a very nice analogy there. But on the other hand, and that understandably makes us all tense about it, and we don't really like that sort of stuff, but at the same time, they've also had a quality control for a lot of things. Not everything, obviously.
Right.
There have been plenty of stinkers on Microsoft, or on Xbox, but it's not necessarily the end of the world.
No,
it's just like you said though. It's really hard.
I know
to
I sound like an apologist here.
Yeah.
But
it's hard to see. It is hard to see both sides, and I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that because I look at it from my standpoint of I won't be able to rent a game or borrow one from a friend. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And then the game company, I have to look at it their eyes going, you want to just borrow my game? Fuck you.
Yeah.
If you want to play my game, pay $50 or $60 and play the game. It's good. You're going to like it, so buy it. And so it's hard to look at it from that perspective because you also look at them as a corporation. It's like, oh, they got billions of dollars. Who cares?
Right.
As they lay off another group of their people because their games aren't selling.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to step out of your personal experience and look at it. So, but I try.
And I don't want to sound like I'm not being an apologist.
You are.
To be perfectly honest,
because you're a fanboy.
I'm not even entirely sure I'm going to buy an Xbox One.
Right.
So. Yeah. There's still a lot of time before that's even an option, and I'm going to hold off on making that decision.
And it's probably going to be fucking expensive.
Probably going to be super expensive.
I can't see it being sub 500.
And
that's what I was guessing as well.
Yeah. Like visions of my thoughts on PS3 back in the day. It's just coming right now, and I it's like I don't want to go to that side, but I don't know.
You can get PS4? Is that what you're saying?
The thing about I'd have to get cable to utilize the whole instant TV
exactly.
stuff. I'd have
that
to
doesn't
change.
affect you.
I'd have to change all my to actually utilize it.
And you still have to run it through. It's basically just running it through that system. It's not like it's doing away with that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I would love to be able to use the whole thing, but then I'm like, now I got to add on to that plus pay for the system. I'm like, my head exploded.
We'll see.
Yeah.
E3 is in a couple weeks.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting.
I told my wife about because the new Kinect sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, blah blah blah, and she's like, oh, that'll be great. You could do Dance Central. I'm like, I can't play Dance Central with that. I have to use my old Kinect to play Dance because they're not making Dance Central anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, they just released a bunch of Rock Band 3 songs this week. What's up with that? I know, right?
What do you mean they released a bunch?
They are add-on. They had new add-on content this week. I'm assuming they're new. Because I go into that add-on marketplace.
Are they just discounted
DLC.
or something?
I have no. Well, it wouldn't appear in the add-on place.
Is it all the new whatever, not the main ones that they author, but
I have no clue.
The Rock Band Network?
Could be.
Might have been.
The ones that are done by, third parties that they would update there? Because I think those maybe
them
still
official?
were continuing.
No, because you don't see Rock Band Network updates on.
Okay. I'm wondering if they changed that with them not doing them anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
It
didn't
was
hear anything
weird
about
because
it,
I'm
so-
like, I thought they were done with this, and all of a sudden they're cluttering up my add-on. It was a nice couple of weeks there, where it was like 5
You're
things
excited.
there, 6 things. I'm like, I can find what I'm looking for
You
right
bastard.
away.
Don't celebrate their stopping the tracks.
and then I logged on. I'm like, what is with this? Full track, demo track, full track, demo track, full track, demo track. Jesus fucking Christ.
Maybe
Well-
your Xbox woke up a couple of months back.
All right. Well, we'll move on from the Xbox One, but we'll have more, E3 talk. It's going to be a huge E3 this
Yeah.
year with all the
Yeah.
new system stuff. So
Yeah.
look forward to that in a couple weeks
All right.
from us.
Let's talk about some indie games.
Indie.
Indie.
What's up, Indie Kings, for the week,
I will
Sean?
kick it off with Reality Bytes. This one was 80 points.
I love that movie.
I know, starring Winona Ryder
I hate that
and
movie.
that
I jumped
one
on
guy,
you. I
Ben
jumped
Stiller.
on your pop culture reference.
No, I've never seen that movie.
I
actually,
triggered it off.
ever.
I figured you would still mention it.
No, I wouldn't.
You knew more about it than I did.
Because I know the
basically
people
knew
that
it
are
was a
in it.
movie
I've seen the
called
cover art.
Reality Bytes.
All right,
I was
but this
really
one has
trying hard to think of who was in it, actually.
But this one has a Y in it.
Ethan Hawke.
He's in that.
I don't know. I think so.
He is in it. You've
Ben
seen
Stiller's in it.
it. You probably
Garofalo?
You probably watched Singles right after it.
No, Singles all the time.
Oh, man, I think I
Singles-
confused those two movies.
Singles
in my
all
head,
the time,
actually.
Reality Bytes,
'Cause
never.
I always do. Singles and Reality Bytes.
They're never not even comparable.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a huge defender of Singles. Don't even get on me about that.
Isn't Matt
I
Damon
just
in that
I
movie?
listen. He's not in that fucking movie. Matt
Oh.
Damon's not in that movie. Matt Damon would have been like 11 when that movie came out. No, he would have been older than that. But
Not Matt Damon, but Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon, is he? I don't think so. I
thought he had long hair.
Yeah, no. Matt Dillon, yes,
Okay.
he is.
All right.
All right, well, we're done talking about that indie game,
So
right?
we-
Singles is awesome. Still love that movie.
So Reality Bytes, 80 points from Modern 07.
Bridget Fonda.
I'm going to read from, this is just right from the page here. Reality Bytes is a classic retro adventure where you have to go into the computer, 80s style. I played it.
Well done.
None of that
I can't tell
happens.
if you're...
None of that happens.
None of that happens. It's Pac-Man. it's Pac-Man with 2 terrible tracks.
Yeah.
It's got a rotating track. I played the whole 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. You don't have to
you
buy
talking about
this
the
game.
music?
I know.
Are you talking about the music or
it doesn't advance.
the map?
The gameplay doesn't really advance.
The ghosts kind of, or I'm calling them ghosts.
they get
the
faster.
vacuum cleaner looking things or
They're
whatever.
like little robots. I
I
think.
have no
They look
idea.
like the old Nintendo robot.
They do kind of look like that.
Ooh,
I was thinking they looked
yeah.
like Johnny Five as well. So.
Yeah, they do look
Yeah.
like Johnny Five. Maybe they are.
'Cause
it's 80s.
80s style.
Well, Nintendo Robot makes sense.
So yeah, I played it. If you want, it's cheap.
80 points.
Was that your big selling point?
And if you want Pac-Man,
It's Pac-Man, but I found it to be. I played a little bit of it. I
Yeah.
did not enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but it just I would not. I don't know. I don't want to slam it, but
I know.
it's like I didn't find the balance very well. Like I didn't the things that chase you. They were really really fast. I don't know. It just didn't ramp up the same way that like a Pac-Man does. It
Right,
seemed to ramp
right.
up a lot faster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was more like a.
well, and they were kind of random too.
Yeah.
and you would think you'd follow them a little bit, or one would chase you, but some didn't. But then next thing you know, you'd be dead.
Maybe that was
like-
reality biting.
Yeah.
you.
And
Exactly.
like we said, there was really
Hey!
there just wasn't progression
Yeah.
in the level because it was the
wouldn't
same
change
level.
color.
It didn't change anything about the
Except
game.
for your little the special in the middle was
Yeah,
all
yeah.
like computer related,
Yeah.
and that would change.
Yeah, that little thing.
Yes.
So why was it called Reality Bites? Was it just for the fun with the bites?
Yeah.
but but I don't know where when you have to go in the computer. Like I was waiting for like me to pass a level and then have it switch over to something totally
Do
like
something.
like a totally
Yeah, like a
different
different
game.
genre.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So there you go, Modern
looking for,
07.
Like, you're looking for
There's
like
your patch.
arcade Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
game.
Something like there you go. It's worth downloading. Then you can play Pac-Man anytime you wanted for 8 minutes
For free.
For 8 minutes.
That was mean. That was mean.
Well, talking about slight balance issues, I checked out the Monastery from Juan Alberto Munoz.
I don't know.
Also sells for 80 Microsoft points, and you can check out some video of this over at pixelatedsausage.com.
Cool.
Because Kush played a bit of it as well. He seemed to enjoy it more than I did, but it's kind of in the vein of, it's a first-person horror game, kind of in the vein of those like Slender games where you don't have any weapons, you got your little flashlight, and you're just wandering around. So here you're wandering around this destroyed monastery looking for Bibles, at least in the demo. That's what you're doing, and there's areas that are locked off as you're playing the demo. And there's a demon there, and you can start to hear the demon, then he'll start walking after you. And so first off, the environment's pretty cool. Actually, there's a lot of different places to kind of wander around. Even though it's very flat, it doesn't end up feeling very samey. Great choice of music because there's really setting up some tension. Cool. If you see that video, you can hear it there, and it does actually build some false tension because there's like these little stingers and stuff within the music, and so you feel like something's happening, but no, it's just static music. I mean, it's just part of the song.
Gotcha, yeah. It's
going to happen every time. It's not really tied to anything happening in the game. And you can, when you hear the monster kind of coming up behind you, and you're like, there's that panic that you get with every one of those games. However, there's a big difference in how this game works with like those Slender games. With the Slender games, you'll start to sense that you're getting close. The monster's close to you, and so then you're like, fuck, and then you turn around and you run in the other direction until it stops doing that. And if you don't, if you run in the wrong direction, well, then you're fucked. Here, I don't know if the demon's always walking around on the map or something like that, but basically he just continues to follow you. And he's a little bit faster than you. So it's basically inevitable that he's going to catch up to you and try to slash at you.
Okay.
And so I'm not really sure and it could entirely be that I'm missing something and there's a way to ditch the demon or something like that, but it doesn't seem like it. And so what it turned into for me was me scrambling around to try to find as many Bibles as I could before I ran into the demon, and then just running away from the demon, trying to find as many Bibles as I can as he chased me around Benny Hill style, until I took a wrong turn and go into like a dead end, and then he slashes me 3 times and I'm dead, and I have to start the whole thing over again. So it was weird.
It's almost like it feels like a get as far as you can, but not necessarily finish anything.
Yeah, it ended up being weirdly arcadey in that sense. Yeah. Trying for a high score or something like that. Which I don't think is what they're kind of going for. And yeah, I don't know. I was pleased. I was very kind of excited going into it because I recognized that it was going to be different than the Slender games. It wasn't just going to be someone kind of appearing there and all that. But then when I actually played it, I wasn't sure how it was. Like, I felt like I was doing something wrong. I was like, I told myself, I think I need a different mind frame for how I'm playing this game because I don't think I'm doing it right, or I don't think I'm doing it the way that the game maker expected me to. So,
you just love a good Benny Hill romp.
I did.
You're like a nervous boyfriend.
Strangely, the creepy music
okay? Am I doing everything all right? Is everything okay?
Strangely, the eerie music did turn into yakety sax, and then we ran into different doorways in a hallway.
That would have been awesome.
And you come out different doors.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been sweet.
We stop at one point and look at each other, and then we start chasing again.
And then the little bald guy's there, and you slap his head.
Yeah. And then Scooby-Doo comes in.
No, that was a different thing.
Don Knotts.
All right. Are you done with the monastery then?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Dinora.
Yes.
Sold for 80 points from Psych Dyke.
Psych Dyke.
Essentially, this is like that Terraria. It's a lot like that game.
It is in a lot of senses. It's that sort of side-scrolling Minecraft. However, based on the description, it seems like there's a lot involved.
And that was what kind of got me looking at it. I haven't taken away from my I haven't taken off my hard drive
you still
yet.
got the demo, yeah.
But there it is. That's an easier way of saying it. But because the 80 points, I thought the 80 points was awesome, and everything that I liked about Terraria.
Yeah.
Like, I want to try this just because it's cheaper, and then, if I get bored with it, then I don't feel like I've, spent too much money.
The description talked all about, like, creating relationships with people in the game, and, like, you having, a family maybe. Like, it seemed like there's going to be this whole world building that you continue.
Like a Sims portion of it?
A little bit, yeah. So it wasn't just a creation tool, but it basically has that same kind of hump that you have to get over at the beginning of Terraria or something like that.
And I like that pulled me in because I was like, I don't know, there was something about it. I got my bench made and then my time ran out.
Yeah. There's more survival stuff as well. It's like it keeps track of your lungs and your hunger because you have to feed yourself.
You got to feed yourself. Right? Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Terraria Sims.
Yeah.
No bathroom breaks, though, do you?
I didn't
make
have
yourself
to
build
go
it
at
out.
all.
I know.
Okay, good.
I just kept digging. I built a cool cave.
I actually didn't get all the way through the demo, I have to admit. There's a lot of instructions.
Yeah.
A lot.
who are you, Sean?
I was flying through that. You were reading. I was going
Because I'm actually trying to figure out how to do things.
I know. So was I.
No,
the
you
hard
were.
way.
The hard way. You're right. Like I'll figure it out when I get to it.
There's a lot of instructions, and everything's really tiny.
Yeah. That was the.
Yeah.
Because
that-
I got through the instructions in Terraria, but
Yeah.
the type was... and
I agree with
the
that one.
menu is tiny, tiny.
But I was having some fun with it for 80 points. I'm
Cool.
I'm more than likely going to buy
I wonder,
it. just to
if
check it
it's
out.
I wonder if it's available on PC as well. I could see that working better on PC as well.
Yeah.
Just because pointing with the mouse would be a little easier sometimes than
Right.
with the joysticks.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
those kind of games.
Awesome.
Anyway,
But it's everything I liked about that one game, but cheaper.
Terraria.
Cheaper.
Gotta love those indie games sometimes.
Who's moving on?
Oh, Sean, why don't you go ahead and do another one? You took one.
Well, I'm sorry.
stole it.
I'm a stealer. Super Robot World, 80 points from Gardner Games. This is a platformer robot Mario, pretty much. It has like the total setup. It has almost the same type of map towards like a Mario map. It has a little secret where I thought I was jumping over like this big cavern. You could go down in it and get missiles. So that was neat. So I went back and got that because you actually need that. The controls were a little wonky because it uses... I don't think it even uses your A, B, X, or Y. It's all trigger and bumper.
To like move forward and jump?
Are
yeah.
you shooting as well?
Yes.
Do you control the direction
I
of you
think
shooting with the right stick?
With the right stick, you move your gun back and
Yeah,
forth.
that's why it's
yeah.
the jumps are on the trigger.
And then you have your jump. So whenever they put a jump on the bumper or trigger, it seems like I have a problem with that. I don't know what's going on, but after a while, I really got the hang of the layout, and I had some really cheesy deaths. I was a little upset with,
Cheesy deaths?
like it just
Falling
stupid.
some fondue?
Yeah, it was just burning. But there was some really bad. Like I was like kind of like this is lame. But there's something like I die like felt like I was too easy. And some of the jumps I would move, and it's like that kind of game where you kind of move your guy as he's jumping.
Yeah.
So like I would either
Wind powers activate.
Yeah, exactly. I'd go way over my jump, or I'd get to the edge and then he'd just go right down to the ground. So. The style was cool. I liked the look of it. And at the 80-point price, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
And I tried jumping on enemies.
No.
Nothing.
No, you get hurt.
have to shoot
you
'em.
get hurt that way. So
Oh, okay.
I had Super Mario in my head.
Yeah.
It's a Mario.
I tried out Guns and Noses.
Yeah.
From Littonville Studios. Sorry, my handwriting is atrocious here. For 240 Microsoft points. This is our expensive one this week. It's kind of a top-down twin-stick shooter, Western shooter, where you can actually kind of customize your character's gender and appearance, and then the customizations you choose affect stats. So, like, you choose curly handlebar mustache dude, he's got slightly different stats than other dude. Done with some cartoony visuals. I can't remember if there was multiplayer or not. It's been a few days. It's been a while since I played this.
I took a look at it. I can't remember either. I think there was, but I don't know.
It seemed nice. Like,
yeah.
And all that. It was kind of a 45-degree angle top-down 3D, kind of like Marvel Alliance and all those sorts of games. But I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to shoot anybody. Like, I could not aim. No, I could fire the gun, but I couldn't hit anybody. And there's these guys, and they just come straight at you, and they're shooting you, and I'm running around like an idiot trying to... I couldn't figure... I was having issues, I think, with both the movement and the direction. But then even when I stood still, I'm like, I just want to hit somebody. I don't think I was.
Just so I can.
Because there's little blood drips coming out of me when I was getting hit, but I didn't see any on anybody else. And I could not finish off anybody
I was checking out the screenshots for it, and it was that 45-degree angle kind of was like, I was like, I'll try that out. But then I was like, well, wait, maybe this might be one of those games where I don't like where you have to shoot and move your joystick at like an angle to do an angle shot. So like when I saw some of the streets that way,
it
I'm
seems like a full 360
I'm
shooting possibility.
And I'm thinking Western, so I'm thinking they only got 6 bullets. It's not like a like
I don't remember if they had
Super
the reload
Smash
or
Brother, like a Smash TV type game.
We have unlimited.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if there was reloading.
I mean, it looked pretty cool. I didn't bite the bullet on it to try it out. So
yeah, I don't know. If somebody tries it out and they can figure out what I was doing wrong, because I think the movement's kind of tricky as well. It might be one of those more complicated movements where it's not just you point in a direction and that's where you go. I think there might be like a move/turning set of functions in there. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I looked like an idiot playing the game, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I went and checked the controls. I'm like, I know all the controls. What is going on with this? I couldn't figure it out, but it looked promising at least.
Yeah, I like the screenshots of it. One that I like a lot, so I downloaded it, was the Blitz. It sold for 80 points from 35 millimeter. This is like a silhouette bomber, back and forth. It moves left to right, right to left.
Oh yeah.
You have a little city below you. You have to bomb it out, and that's essentially the game.
Right.
You're slowly descending. If you miss the first couple shots,
The keyword being slow.
yes, very slow. That's the problem. The one problem I have with that game.
Correct. I like the look of it a lot.
I think the look is very cool. The music, it has a really good jazzy type vibe.
They're all it's like this 20s jazz
Yeah.
to
It's
it.
all free music, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but then it's like I like how it looks,
Yeah.
animation wise, or like the silhouette style,
Yeah.
and the colors that they use, the background, like the solid kind of colors that they have. But you're playing like it goes back and forth, and you drop a bomb on the city, and if you miss,
Yeah.
you have to wait for the plane to go off screen again, come back, drop your bomb again. I missed again.
I wish
Go off the screen, come back.
That's the problem, because the lower you get, the more bombs you get. So because there's only one bomb per screen.
Yeah.
So as you get lower, as it takes less time to get to the bottom. And I couldn't do a middle perfect, like take two down. But I would get right next to the goddamn thing for some odd reason.
I don't think you can take multiples.
But I would be right next to, so I'd have to be going down the middle if I'm right next to the building.
I'm saying I think it takes just the one row. I don't think you can you just do one row at a time that you're taking out the city. And so I like the look of it, but it was way too slow.
Yeah.
And when you miss and have to wait for your plane to exit and enter the screen again and get in the right place, and you miss again.
Yeah.
And when you miss 4 times in a row, you're like, I'm fucking done.
I wish there was a way that you could move that bomber faster.
Yeah.
Because that could screw things up for you, too.
Yeah, if you had the speed control,
Yeah,
that would
'cause if
be,
you
that's
could-
all that's missing in my
Because
opinion.
you can move that a little bit faster, you might miss the shot.
What if there is speed control in it? We didn't pay attention.
We never look at the controller
I like to throw
rules.
that in just in case somebody goes, you're an idiot. It has it. I'm calling myself out. It might.
You press down on the left joystick. Exactly. I mean, probably.
If that had that, I would think that it's a lot more fun. My problem was just the slowness of it.
And
So
I agree. That's what but yeah, the look was there, and I
Just
like
keep track of how many innocent people you kill.
Well, that
No,
was the other thing.
there's no-
too.
These aren't military installations, right?
no, they're just cities.
Yeah,
but cities need to go sometimes.
But this is the weird thing about the game is you just move on to the next level. There's no points that are
Right.
listed.
It's nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a game
You're listening to music and bombing cities.
in the 20s.
Yeah, in the 20s.
You know how it was in the 20s?
Oh, yeah.
Bombing out cities.
Shit happened all the time.
They deserved it.
It's
like,
boom.
This is progress.
Yeah.
Now I can build that new high rise.
Now see here.
Bring another one down.
Let's do the whole show like this the whole time.
Why don't you flip over the jazz CD for CD record? I ruined
Oh, he broke character
it.
already.
Ruined it. I ruined it.
First, flip over that CD.
I know. Well, you know those two-sided CDs.
Yeah, laser discs. Hey, now, what's a CD? What are you trying to play me here?
It's like a compact mirror, see? Put on my makeup, see?
Oh God.
You put tunes on this? That's how I'm talking the rest of the show.
Well,
by the
I
way.
am from the future. I accidentally reveal myself there
Yeah,
at
that's
that
right.
point, and then it goes into a chase sequence.
Anything else about the Blitz? Are we done? You're
That
good?
should be it.
Okay.
It's not a football game.
It is not a football game. Are we done for indie games then?
I think so.
XBLA?
Yes.
Arcade?
First off, to start this off on the forums, I mentioned
Do
this.
it.
Skullgirls finally got the big update that they released on pretty much every other system back in November of last year, which
Timely.
fixed a lot of issues. They also downloaded, I think part of it's because they just had a successful, what was it, Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign or whatever to develop new characters.
I don't trust anybody that does any of those.
There's like 4 new characters coming to the game, although I have no idea if it's coming to the computer or coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
It's definitely coming to PCs.
Next November.
Yeah.
But it fixes a lot of issues that I didn't even realize we had. Sean and I played Skullgirls, and
Tried to play.
Our biggest complaint was that it was, even though they were advertising it as being open to everyone from complete novices to the most expert of experts, and everybody would find something. We found it completely impenetrable on the demo because you couldn't survive. You couldn't barely land any hits in the demo.
True.
Turns out there was a bug, so that no matter what difficulty setting you chose, it decided to be hard or something like
Sweet.
that. So it fixed that. I played it. There is actually an easy.
Sweet.
It does get easier than that. It does work. I actually got through like 3 battles or something like that.
Awesome.
It was actually kind of fun and enjoyable.
I wish I hadn't heard any of this, and you should have just told me, "Hey, Sean, try out Skullgirls," and then I'm kicking ass. I'd be like,
What was my problem before?
I'd be at home like, I'm the best ever.
I'm the worst.
I'm gonna play people in multiplayer.
Yeah.
I'm getting beat up.
I don't know. It still didn't win me over enough in order to purchase the game.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you tried out Skullgirls the first time and it really was not your cup of tea, but it sounded interesting to you, go ahead and give it another shot because it is a completely different demo.
That's
now.
awesome.
Cool.
Just worlds of difference there.
Well, thanks for the info.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very excited because I go into that add-on marketplace. And I'm like, what's this Skullgirls, mandatory patch? I'm like, what is this thing? I'm like, maybe I should re-download that game and try this out.
And you did.
And I did. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember they talked about that. It's like, you can go to their website and see everything they fixed on it. It's like massive. There's so much in there. Yeah.
Well, I want to touch back on some Monaco if I could quick. I played a little bit more. Last episode, it had just come out like the day before we recorded.
Yes.
So I didn't have much time to play. I played a little bit more. You are correct. The gentleman is awesome. He's
one of my favorites.
Amazing.
One thing I like is that, it's open to a lot of different play styles.
Yeah.
If you want to go in there guns a-blazing, then there are characters that you could do that with. But
I love playing with him, though.
It's nice.
He's awesome.
It's much more relaxing.
Just because you can hide. I mean,
Yes.
I would obviously think that people probably think he's the cheesiest one. Do you know if that's the case? Because,
maybe.
I mean, I find him to be the easiest to get out of bad situations.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
I agree, but
Till he dies.
I think other people find other characters easier to get out of situations.
Wouldn't you want a guy for that game? Specifically, I mean, isn't that what you would want? Anyway?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think some people would you're gonna take the gentleman? He's easy.
Nah.
I love
But
him.
there's a variety.
He's awesome.
That's what I was just saying. Is that,
My only issue I ran into is that, and we talked about the potential for it, is some of those longer levels and dying, and so I would lose all my lives, and I was so irritated. And one of them in particular, I played through this whole long thing.
Yeah.
Got to the end, had to get into a car. And there was 5 different cars you could choose from, and apparently you could only get into one of them. That all the other ones were alarms were going off, so it was one particular one you had to get into.
Oh, the alarms will still go off. I think you can still get it.
Maybe I wasn't lined up right. I don't know what was happening.
You
but
do have to line yourself
up. It was
up, which can be a
my
pain.
last guy,
Yeah.
and he died at that point, and I was so mad. It is so bad for me to because I'm I spent probably 20, 25 minutes going through this
It can go
level,
long,
getting
yeah.
everything and getting around, and then to have it die, I instantly don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
Is what happens to me.
Yeah.
Well,
I get burnt.
I'm guessing you were playing by yourself.
I was.
Right? Those later levels are very difficult single player. You really have to puzzle it out and strategize really hard. With multiple players, it actually becomes a lot easier because you can be resuscitated. So
And you can split up and have people take other people out, and you're not just on
although
your
that's
own
a
doing
risk
it.
as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But you haven't picked it up on XBLA yet, have you?
No,
Okay.
no, I haven't.
Someday.
Yeah, I actually didn't play any since the last show.
Okay.
I'm sad about it.
Well, not much else to say. I mean, I'm playing through it. I do still enjoy it, but it is frustrating on those times when I, get through a 20-minute level and die. I was very done with the game in a couple different instances.
No,
I come back to it later.
I had a different reaction. Mine was more like, oh, what did I do differently? Or, how can I figure out how to...
Oh, there's no introspection. When I get done, and it's never my fault.
Are you at, like...
Never my fault.
You were describing what, like the art museum or something? I found the art museum very difficult.
This was
the marine museum.
I think this is the first one that you get to that has like those camera things that would come out, the cone of red light that would go off. It was the one before the aquarium, maybe.
Okay.
And I don't know. You had to go in and get evidence. Was it like a police station?
Oh yeah,
or something?
Police station.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the one I was at. So I got to that last section, and I was like,
yeah, the palace is really difficult. Not to spoil later locations, but
great.
Multiple floors. Now, you don't have to search for everything. Don't
What?
forget that. I know.
Yes, you do.
That's the hard thing to remember.
Duh. No, there's nothing to remember. I know that I don't have to, but that's not an option.
I know.
I have to get everything.
I know. But sometimes if it does get that frustrating, I have to make myself be like,
just get through
maybe I just should fucking get through this level
exactly.
instead of trying to be anal about all this.
It could be.
I have the same problem with that.
All right. Well, that's it for me for Monaco.
All right. Sanctum 2 came out from Coffee Stain Studios, 1,200 Microsoft points. I don't believe the first Sanctum came out on Xbox. I believe it was a PC-only game.
Yeah, I don't recall it.
It is...
I also know nothing about this.
It is a hybrid tower defense and first-person shooter game with a futuristic sci-fi bent to it. And so, basically, there are these... It's... The classic tower defense, you get time to set up your defenses. You get to see a line where they're going to be entering, kind of similar to like Orcs Must Die. And so you can build walls, you can build turrets, you can upgrade turrets, and you're trying to protect this core thing. Think of it kind of similarly to like Monday Night Combat, so that big ball that enemies would try to bash.
Sure.
It's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to that. The enemies coming in it had a Monday Night Combat feel for me in some senses. But it's done first person, and then while that's happening, you also have a gun, and you can just shoot these guys as well. So you're basically aiding your turrets. Your turrets aren't quite enough to do it, at least through the demo. And it's pretty decent. Now, I think the big draw for it is the co-op. I think you can go up to 4 players playing together.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think you share resources instead of each getting your own resources. So it's not like you're going to have billions of turrets, but you have different people with different abilities and different guns running around shooting these guys from the tops of walls as well. Yeah. And I think that's a big part of the draw for it. I actually didn't get to experience it that much. It wasn't bad. They tell the story through little comic book shots. However, they were not centered on my screen. Like somebody's dialogue was kind of cut off a little bit.
I've been having that problem more and more with games.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I always just assume it's like a problem with my TV.
Well,
some of them you can adjust.
Yeah, and I went to go check to see if you can adjust it, but I couldn't do that either.
And sometimes I do adjust it and it still cuts off stuff.
Yeah.
I've had that more and more happen, and I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, it's kind of an issue, but it wasn't
Xbox One.
It wasn't terrible. Sean, you might like the art style though.
I looked at the screenshots for it and it looked a little busy for me, but I'll give it a shot. I'll try it out.
Yeah, I think you might, because it's not super breakneck pace. For shooting and stuff. It is first person, but it's a really small area generally. So you're not going to get super lost.
Right.
You have to run back to the core and pick up your resources at the end of it for some weird reason, which just seems like needless backtracking. But you can tear in the walls, you can build new walls and all that. There are definitely some neat aspects for strategizing.
Cool.
Then I also got a chance to play Call of Juarez Gunslinger.
Yes.
Sells for 1,200 Microsoft points from Techland. Yes, that's all I wanted to say about that. I don't know.
It's Ubisoft, I think, isn't it?
In Ubisoft, yeah. Well, I mistakenly got it confused with Metro, thinking it was one of THQ's old properties. And so I was going to name Ubisoft as the new publisher, and then I'm like, that's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right at all.
I played the demo for this game when it came out this week, and as soon as I played that demo, I was like a couple minutes in, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
First off, the gameplay is great, but once you start getting into the story narrative, I couldn't believe how much I loved it.
To give people a little bit of centering here, this is a first-person Western shooter. And the levels basically have 3 different things that you do. It's a corridor shooter. It's not an open world like Far Cry 3 Blood Dragons was on our last episode. And so there's basically, your gallery and corridor shooting aspect.
Yeah.
There's a few boss battles, which are just kind of like a big arena. And then there's the showdowns, the duels, which all have slightly different ways to approach it. But yes, so now you may continue.
But the way that they tell the story is just so well done. I mean, it opens up with this guy coming into a bar and sitting down and just chatting with the patrons of the bar about, what he's done in the past. And they start asking him questions about his stories that he can tell them. And he's telling all these tales about his life and what he's done and people he's run with, because one of the big aspects of the game is involving real locations, real people, and kind of, making fictional history out of that, and playing around with those things.
Right. And you play as you're basically playing through the memories.
Right. Yeah. And it's being narrated the entire time. So you're, and I love the gameplay being narrated. The storytelling decision that they made in this game is brilliant to me. That's what sold me instantly on the game.
Definitely.
And so when you're playing through and you do this thing and you go through and do these actions and you go through and you have a shootout and the guy's like, so you killed him right there? He's like, no, I didn't say that. This is actually what happened. And everything reverses back and you do it a different way because you're seeing like false memories, or false tales, I guess I should say.
Yeah, they're in there
in some aspects.
Dime journals and comic books. And
so they're playing through these stories that don't necessarily play out that way, and then they kind of reverse back and show you how they did play. Although that stuff's not believable either. I mean, that's all tall tales.
Yeah.
But to see those tall tales being put in a narrative that's being played along with is kind of awesome.
Well, and it fits the genre really well because we talked about things like Max Payne 3 where we're like, we've killed the population of a small country during the course of the game or something like that. And so, when you do it in the aspect of a braggart telling, a story of what he's done, then the masses of people that you're just leaving dead on the ground makes more sense.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes you out less.
And you're dealing with the Old West.
Draws you in.
So it's like the late 1800s, I think this is dealing with, and this whole Wild West kind of situation. And where Tall Tales, I mean, that kind of stuff was the case. I mean, you had these people that were... all these stories were done about all these people, and the truth was somewhere in the middle, and usually probably at the lower end of what they were actually did. But you're getting to play through at these levels of these heightened stories, and then sometimes they get knocked down a peg, and sometimes they don't.
Well, and there's 4-5 people in the audience or something like that. This guy's telling it too, and so they influence the story as well. There's actually one level where you play through 3 different perspectives.
That's the one I'm on right now.
3 different ways,
and it's awesome.
It's very nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah, wait till you get to see what happens when the storyteller leaves to go to the bathroom.
I can't wait.
What happens to your game when the storyteller has to go take a piss?
That's awesome.
A lot of fun. I love that they played around with it.
Yeah.
Yes,
a ton.
And then on top of it,
I loved it.
That narrative is awesome, and the way that they do it is awesome. But then the gameplay is still fun too.
It's very good.
The shooting aspect is fun. I mean, it's really arcadey.
It's very arcadey.
Very arcadey.
I mean, it's got a lot of the trappings that are common to first-person shooters these days, with some slow motion special abilities to do
that dodge,
fine aiming. There's the get out of death ability.
Yep.
You earn experience points so you can unlock new skills. All those general trappings are in there, but they don't feel tired. They all work really well.
I can't remember what it's called, that focus power that you use. Concentration. I find that to be a little clumsy.
Really?
I was having to. I don't know. I think it was having. It's a combination of it going away too fast.
Well, it depends on how much you built up.
And so I'm saying like maxed out.
Yeah.
Even then it went out too fast where I was not able to aim very good in that interim. there was something about a snap-on aim that I was missing.
Well, that's
especially
one of
in
the
those
skills.
scenarios. And now that I've gotten that skill, it's been awesome because now I can, hold down the button and you can basically do headshot automatically on everybody. And now that I've got that, it's awesome. But until then, which is quite a ways into the game, I felt that like every time I used it, I would maybe take out 1 or 2 guys.
And
I wanted to take out like a ton.
No,
I usually used it just to find out where they were at.
I did that a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because I would turn it on, then turn it back off to kind of see them.
Because it is hard to see some of the guys sometimes.
It can be, yeah.
They blend
especially if they're way far away.
And they're hiding pretty well.
Yeah. I liked it that way. Like it didn't become too much of a crutch for me.
I wanted the crutch.
See, and I
I
rarely used it in the gameplay because it's just
Sometimes
I
I
used it to
forget
find.
about it.
Well, I just used it to find people really quick and kind of where they're at, so then I can just move around a lot easier. But I had a lot of fun with the gameplay. I thought it was interesting. The only thing I had a problem with, and normally I think this would probably be like the shining light for a game for me, was the character designs. Because they're all like Arkham City type vibes and like
what do you mean?
Weird. Like Pat Garrett's his coat was all stitched and he had all these pieces.
Yeah.
And Billy the Kid was wearing red leather gloves with tassels and red hat.
Oh yeah, they're really exaggerated.
I
like
mean,
one dude's mustache is like down to his chest or something like that. But
it just seems very.
For me, that all fits into like this is how it's being told. And the guy's like really superfluous with all the like
but it goes
explanation of everybody.
It's weird how you have the one and then they go into that like cartoon type style and almost comic book style when they introduce people, which really works.
That was awesome.
But it's just when you're doing it in an Old West background, it's hard for me to see that Billy the Kid standing there, and I'm like, why is he dressed like that? It looks like the Two-Gun Kid.
I think of it more like a dime novel.
Exactly.
Those hyper exaggerated tall stories.
And it is here a comic booky, like you said.
Yeah.
So that works for me.
And the cutscenes are all done in sort of a motion comic style, and that's one of the best executions of that I think I've seen.
Yeah.
I was very pleased with it.
It was really well done. Like, the whole package is just really well done.
Yeah.
In addition to the regular story mode, there's also you can just play through maps as arcade shooting galleries.
Nice.
Trying for a high score, so you really need to figure out how to get combos up. And you can choose between 3 different styles. There's the trapper, the gunslinger, and the ranger.
Yes.
It's the same skill sets, but it's not tied to the skills that you have in the game. So you can. It's meant to be played over and over again because then you unlock more skills as you kind of build up your experience points in there. And then there's also duel mode where you go through 15 duels. We didn't talk about the dueling.
Yeah, I'm a little mixed on the dueling. I like the dueling.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the dueling.
It's complex.
It seems not balanced, and I don't know if it's a problem on my end or what.
What's not balanced for you?
Sometimes it seems like because how the duel works is that you get and I remember this from one of the older Call of Juarez games where they kind of had a similar situation going on. Or maybe I'm thinking of the old Red Dead game because that had that too. The old game, not Redemption, but the one before that.
They had a hand. Well, they had a hand thing in Redemption as well.
But
you use both your sticks.
Yes.
What the left stick is controlling your hand.
Your hand on the gun because the camera shot's down like right down by your hip.
By your hip, yeah. And so you balance that, and if you keep it kind of centered over the gun, then that's going to build up your speed. And so that's the faster you can pull the gun out of the holster. Meanwhile, with your right stick, you're trying to center this ever decreasing, hopefully, because if it's increasing, you're doing something wrong. Ever decreasing spinning circle over the enemy, and that's the concentration. And what that will do is
who's moving around,
wandering back and forth usually, and what that does is it kind of focuses your shot. It makes the enemy bigger on the screen, so they'll be easier to hit, and I think it creates a smaller field that your reticle is going to appear in. And so those numbers are increasing. So you're kind of keeping an eye on both things as well.
And trying to move your hands ambidextrous of each other.
Yes, exactly. and here's the other thing. If you're moving one of those things, moving the hand, moving the circle, then the number's not increasing. So your goal is to try and kind of keep it sitting for a while. I've gotten them up to 100% before.
Nice.
On things. And then it kind of goes to the heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. And then you wait for them to draw their gun. And the thing is once it starts heartbeating, you can draw your gun. You can be the guy to shoot first, but then it's a dishonorable kill, which isn't a huge deal if you're not looking for points. But if you want an honorable kill, you have to wait for them to draw first, and then you draw. So you press the right trigger, and then you have to aim, but he's not going to aim until like the gun's high enough to point at them. So
because it kind of goes into slow motion.
It goes well. That depends on your speed, as well. If actually, I think that's what speed affects, because when I don't get good speed, like when I have like 60% speed or something, then it's like, what the fuck? They shot me before anything happened, And I think it's because it slows it down more the higher your speed is, and so then you gotta. I mean, you can take a shot before that crosshairs appear, but then the shot's not.
You're just shooting at the ground,
right? And so then you try to hit them. And meanwhile, you can also use the left stick while all that's happening, because you're aiming with the right stick. You use the left stick to kind of lean your guy one way or the other, so you can possibly dodge a shot. I have had it where they shot first, but I ducked out of the way and then shot them. So that's definitely a possibility. There's a lot of things going on.
There is a lot of things going on. I think my issue with it is I haven't done it enough. I think once I get into I haven't messed around with that dual section too much. I think once I get into there, I can maybe play around with the mechanics more, because when it comes up just once in a while throughout the game, you don't really get, I might have gotten lucky, so you don't really get a time to play around with it. Too much.
And I forgot about the dodge for a long time. They taught it to me in the game, and then I completely forgot about it. I'm like, I'm getting shot by all these guys, and then I remembered I can dodge, and then I did it. Easy next time. And the last duel has a nice twist to it.
Awesome.
Complicated, can be a little frustrating, but it's also a really cool idea.
Cool.
So
I did run into a couple spots in the game where I got frustrated. Where I got there was a couple boss fights that were very frustrating.
The boss fights could be hard.
One in particular that I got to that I probably had to do like 15 times, it felt like. But then I got through it, so then it was fine. But that one, I was just like,
and later I noticed skills. I'm like, if I had that skill when I was doing that boss fight, that would have made it easier too. So,
but a great game overall. Definitely worth the purchase. For me.
These downloadable first person shooters. These are making me play more first person shooters,
more than disc game ones do.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I don't.
Well, what is this? Probably like maybe a 5-6 hour gameplay. I'm guessing
a contained
6
story
to
too.
8,
It's
maybe.
Contained, yeah.
You'll have disc games sometimes that are. I mean, I'll play a Call of Duty game and it'll be 8 to 10 hours
for the single player.
for the single player experience, and I won't have as much fun as I've had with this one so far.
And you're not interested in the multiplayer experience.
Exactly. So it's the same scenario.
Yep.
And I mean, we had Battlefield 1943 as a downloadable multiplayer experience. Granted, that may not have as many bells and whistles as your average multiplayer on a disc game, but why not see more of these? Make them more affordable.
Oh man, Battlefield.
It's a good format for it. We talked about it.
We played the shit out of that.
We talked about
right.
last episode with Far Cry.
We had a community event with us.
Oh yeah.
Last episode with Far Cry. I mean, I just like seeing these kind of games that
definitely
would normally be either DLC or show up on a disc and get bloated out.
And I'm probably not going to play them.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a section of the gamer population that would not play that just because I don't have the... you put something on a disc, it's a massive time commitment for me. I either got to...
In theory. Maybe it's not.
And money. Well, here's the thing.
The money thing. Is
I either have to invest in the game or I'm going to have to rent it and try to blitz through it as fast as I can.
Exactly.
So, that's kind of the time commitment.
Right.
I have to play it right now, whereas a downloadable game, I can get that.
Some of us need that to play it. Or they don't ever play it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You want me to put a deadline on Dead Rising 2
I
for
need
you?
all that. Exactly. Exactly right. Is that it for arcade?
Yeah, that's it.
We topped out?
Yep.
All right. Demo?
Demo
into disc?
Yeah, it'll work.
We could,
I don't probably have a lot to add on.
We could fuse. I'll do the fuse.
Oh, it's right. You have
I'll talk
fuse.
fuse, and
Do
then
it.
we can talk this other one. Fuse demo came out. This is very arcadey. It's a 4-player, 4 against everybody. I guess it is. It's
That's
like
tagline.
some kind of like bad guy got a hold of some type of material called the fuse.
Hate it when that happens.
And then they fused it
Fuckers
with
are
other
always doing
fuse
that.
and then they fused the other fuse, and the fuse made things happen. So there's all these...
Is there a mini game where you replace a fuse?
Yes.
Is that on the
Fuse
box?
box.
And you're like, we need
Is
a
it a
red
fuse
one.
box?
Send down a red one.
Is there a collector's edition that's a fuse box?
So anyway, you've got five characters. I think there's like a medic and
thought it was
or
4.
4. I mean, 4 characters. The 5th one is you. There you go.
Twist. Spoiler.
So the fourth character, you've got like a medic, an engineer, like a big guy, and then like
your Team Fortress
your
type
regular
characters,
regular characters. I think you can actually switch when you're playing by yourself. I think you can switch through them, like between them during gameplay.
Oh, like when you die?
Because no, not when you.
Or just at any
I
time?
brought up
At any time?
well,
Nice.
it might be at the very beginning of the set, and then you can choose it. But I don't know because it popped up and it gave me like a choice of all 4 heads, and I was like, I just went with the one I had originally picked. And that was the medic, and they have the. I had a lot of fun. It brought it was a lot to like Gears.
Okay.
Had a lot of that kind of same vibe. The medic, she could throw out a med bomb, and then you get in that diameter, and you would get healed. The only problem I had, it had the first one was like it doesn't follow like the game. It's like you get dropped off into I think probably the first part of the game level that is. And I had a lot of fun with that. I got through it pretty easily. It was nice working with the team, and they did work well. The AI was pretty good for the demo. And then they're like, well, we're going to take you to another, action-packed part of the game, and it's a little further in the story, but don't worry, no spoilers. I kept getting my fucking ass kicked. And I'm like, I just got so pissed off at the game. Like, I was really having fun. The cover system's really, it felt very arcadey and dumbed down, like Gears.
And they
so, like,
ramped it up a bit.
so then all of a sudden I'm like in there, I'm like, oh, these guys, big mechs, and I'm shooting them and they're running at me, and I'm dead with one hit. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So,
Is it the AI maybe not holding up their end of the bargain?
but there's like 3 of these big tankard things running around, just smacking people around, and like they'll run over and pick me up. But if they get hit with me, then they can't. It's
Ramped up a bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So like
I think you need a strategy.
but as a demo goes, it kind of threw me off. Like it really pulled me in, and then it just pushed me out. So I mean, maybe
Maybe
I
you need to remember though too that at that point in the game have played more, and so
you'll be the one.
you'll be better.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you'll be the one, Neo.
We'll see. But I thought
Could be.
You'll have gone through all the tutorials.
That's right.
I think just visually it was nice. It was kind of dirty,
Yeah.
and that's why I think the gears kind of pulled into play there. Not as blocky. The guys aren't as big. But
Maybe you shouldn't have been the medic against the mechs.
well,
Yeah. Were you still playing the medic at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what the fuck?
I was throwing all my meds at him. Take my meds.
Maybe
Thanks for
maybe
honing in on the issue there.
Maybe when
Craig.
you're not playing multiplayer,
Yeah.
you should not choose to be the guy who is the least offensive.
But that's the thing. I'm like backing up. And,
do all the work, AI. I'll heal you.
well, she still had grenades and guns, and her guns made like these cool like techno virus like freaking. It looked like Warlock. It was badass. It was all
awesome.
like black and yellow.
But maybe that's why she was dying with one hit.
Well,
Because she's a medic.
But other guys were getting beat up too. Whatever, guys.
Well, then it doesn't sound like you were doing your job as a medic.
I was throwing my shit, man. I ran out.
I think that comes out in like a week or two. So maybe we'll check
We'll
out
see
the
that.
full game.
Who
And
knows?
maybe it's different in multiplayer
Yeah.
too.
sure it is.
Run around and
And maybe if you start from the beginning and not get thrown in.
Exactly.
It was pretty. I'm telling you, these guys weren't anywhere near the difficulty from the guys at the first part.
I'm sure.
That's what I'm saying. It was just. It was
sure.
like I was really caught off guard.
yeah,
So
I am sure.
and a medic.
well, if she can't take them down, they should put it in the game.
That's right.
Well, let's break out our 3DSs and play some Resident Evil Revelations, shall we?
This isn't a Nintendo show, Craig.
Are you sure?
Sounds like we rehearsed that. That's terrible.
I know.
We
It
didn't.
really wasn't.
That's why it's so
We're
bad.
just terrible.
You guys were doing that before I got here. That was your
That's
segue.
how it is.
Craig, but we're not a Nintendo show.
Apparently, we are now with the port of Resident Evil 3 Revelations, not 3DS.
You stuttered.
Resident Evil 3DS.
It went off script.
Yeah, I did. Oh, damn it.
All right, Resident Evil Revelations.
Yes.
Telling the story of what takes place between Resident Evil 4 and 5, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Showing
Bridging the gap.
showing Jill Valentine's love of tight-fitting cat suits with the zipper zipped down to her cleavage. Apparently.
Well, yeah,
that's
she
what I
gets-
got from
it
the
was- she
demo.
gets
It was
warm.
totally a scuba suit, and then
Yeah, right.
she zipped it down, but she kept the one part clicked. So it's a nice little.
So what is I
little
played
triangle?
I
blue
played
area.
the disc game. So what does the demo do? Is it like just that
You're on
initial
the
part
ship.
of the beginning?
I have no
with
idea
the
if
boat.
it's the initial part. Yeah, you're on the boat.
I think most of the game is on the boat though, for some reason.
No,
you're on
her.
a boat. You get back.
Her part's not.
I think you just
her part.
You find the fake Chris
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
Bacon
Robo
Chris.
Chris.
that's
That's
the
when it
opening of
ends.
the game, I think. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's pretty much as much as I played.
Well, it's a little there's because you do a couple things in the game, but yeah, I'm past that part now.
I don't know about this game so much. I had a problem because I sat down with it and I was like, oh, I'll take a look at it. And then I didn't do it until late in the week.
Yeah.
And so Gunslinger was already out at that time. And I'm like, why am I wasting my time with this game that's not very fun when I could be playing that fun game?
Yeah.
So that I had conflicting
That's an
issues.
understandable issue.
I like the demo.
I played it before Guns.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed the
was
demo.
okay for
It called back to my old Resident Evil days,
Yeah.
like total Resident Evil, like the first Resident Evil.
I will say I initially noticed that it felt like it was Resident Evil kind of sped up. Like
Yeah.
it didn't seem slowed down like 4 and
You
everything
still
did.
go through like the doors and like it's not.
But you move quickly
you
and the
do
doors
move.
open quickly.
Yeah, and it's a little intimidating at first when some of the monsters come at you because I was thinking the old slow motion days,
Right.
slow motion for you. But no, it was. I really enjoyed the demo, and then it ends, and you're just like, this guy's like talking to you, and you're like, well, we're gonna tell you what really happened, and I was like, I want to play this game,
Nice.
and then I went to the rental store, and it was there.
So you played it.
Yeah.
And?
Are we gonna lead into that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it now.
You've
we might as
reached
well
the
all
end of
talk
my
about
experience.
it.
Whoa.
If you played a bunch more, because that's pretty much all I played through. Is that, and I got to the part where you start with Chris. Is that right?
Yeah,
And
You're
then-
Chris and that one chick that's all like in the snow, and she's wearing like shorts, hot pants. I loved her outfit.
Oh, by the way,
She totally looked like a 007, like 007 girl
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the snow.
Yeah.
they have downloadable outfits for the characters.
That's
of
ridiculous.
course. Jill has a sexy pirate outfit.
Oh, good.
man.
She's
And
gonna be a sexy
but
pirate
don't
on the
worry,
boat.
don't worry. Chris also has a sexy sailor outfit.
So
on,
that
with,
makes it
short
okay?
white shorts.
Does he have a little hat?
Yeah, he's got his little hat.
And like one of those ties?
I don't
things that they-
maybe the
whatever they're
kerchief
called?
thing.
Yeah.
It may have been the blue white striped shirt.
I wanted to look like Popeye.
There it is.
Like a Popeye shirt. A
Nice.
sailor shirt.
Yes.
Chris is a little
That'll be
beefy
down the
in
line.
this game.
He's a little beefy. So I got to that point, the start of their thing, and I didn't play anymore. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still going to play it some more, but I don't... Are you enjoying it? Are you further than that?
I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing, I think, third chapter.
Okay.
And we've
I can't think it's going to be very long.
we
If
looked
it's
some more in the boat. Well, what I like about it is, and I've never played the 3DS game version of it, but I really liked how there's a couple different missions off the boat where they, there's one where it starts on the boat, then it goes to like how you've got that it introduced the Genesis system because it's got this like tracker thing, which is part of the demo, which I thought was really neat because then when I played the game, I went to it and I'm like, why don't I have that cool fucking thing?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to go through a story to actually show you how to use
okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah. And
I did feel like it was kind of strangely introduced in the demo. It's like, I'm going to use this Genesis thing. You remember how to use it or something like that? I don't know. It was this really awkward insertion of this.
Well, yeah, and is that where they're like, yeah, I have the instruction manual here? Is that what they did? Because that's what
not
they do in the regular game.
Not in the demo.
Oh, okay.
Because
Because in the regular game, that's how they explain it. It's even odder.
No, because like he says, you're gonna use that Genesis thing, and she's like, "Oh, if I know how to," and then it will show. It has
Yeah, it
little
gives you the
text
text
of how to use it.
Okay.
top of there.
And unlike the game where it like walks you through it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
did the trial. You didn't have to walk me through it at all. It's pretty easy.
Why didn't you do it there?
I figured it out.
Right.
So that's almost like a detective type mode, where you can kind of scan things. Where there's going to be items out, you'll see your herbs out, or you'll see your ammo out, but they're also going to be
Little
stuff,
clues.
yeah, stuff hidden throughout, and then you scan that, and that's where you might find some more ammo, or you might find some more herbs, or a key, or some photos.
Oh, is
or,
that mostly what it's for collectible hunting?
Yep.
You can
And
do
then you can
stuff and people and
then
like creatures.
and then
stuff.
scan creatures. And if you scan enough creatures, you build up like up to 100%. Then you gain like a herb pill.
Yeah, it's like a restorative
So
health thing.
yeah, and I thought that was really nice about it because I don't know if any of the other games had. For some reason, they have you can take your herb, you automatically go to a pill.
Yeah.
You find it, and then do all your mixing right
You have
there.
your ministry,
Yeah.
miniature pharmacy. Pharmacy.
You're just breaking it out right there.
Speak.
Breaking Bad. But so you get it all done, and I like how you can just hit Y and you just automatically take it. I felt that was really. There's something about the game just seems really easy for me, and I felt very like. I just felt like I could walk through. I don't get stressed out.
You know what I think it is?
Button management in Resident Evil always would stress me out because
Yeah.
I'd see something
Right.
and I'm like, I don't want to hit a grenade, but I don't want to hit. I don't want to hit a health.
I was thinking about this when I was playing it too, and it seems like a dumbed down Resident Evil, and not in a bad way. I mean, dumbed down control wise,
right? Because
it's because it's coming off of the 3DS, and so you were so much more limited over there,
Right.
Yeah.
and so you don't have to worry about 15 buttons on the Xbox because you can only use what they had.
Did Capcom actually learn less is more?
And so exactly what you're saying right there is that, playing it on there was a lot more enjoyable for me because it was a lot less to manage and worry about.
Yeah.
And I think I was at that time making the correlation between, obviously you could only do so much on the 3DS, I would think.
Sure.
But maybe it has 15 buttons too. I don't know. Who knows? That thing might now.
Yeah.
I don't really know. But, look wise, it was okay. It looks like a port blown up.
I agree on that.
Because you are playing on a 4-inch screen and now you're putting it on for me, a 50-inch TV.
It was an HD update, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's some
as that
moments
goes.
where it looks like sometimes the characters will look kind of clean, almost too clean.
Yeah.
And they're standing against this background, so it looks like they've been cut out and then just pasted on
I know
there.
what you mean.
A
Yeah.
color form.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, let's peel them and put them over here.
I wish there was a Resident Evil color form set.
But
Paper Mario, Resident Evil.
I
just wish they still did color forms. Do they?
I think they do.
Okay.
Not too often, but they still put them out. But there's something about this game that, like I said, when I got done with the demo and I was at the video store, saw it on the shelf, I was like, I'm trying this out. I don't know, there's something about it.
Yeah.
And I've had some fun with it. Jill is a little sexed up. Yeah.
Always.
But man, when she's walking up the stairs, ah,
Is that a butt joke?
well, it's no joke.
That's no joke.
That's where all the HD went.
All the HD went to the
Kinder
ass.
definition.
That's where all the pixels went.
They put all the graphics in there.
All the graphics went to that ass.
And then there's the other thing that I have a problem, and it's so Capcom.
Yeah.
The villain that shows up, or I think he's a villain because I haven't gotten that far in the story.
Yeah.
Is so Capcom. Like he's like
Like a feminine dude.
A little bit. He's got a little like a cross between Wesker and Arcade from the X-Men and from Marvel Comics.
I see.
Because he's all redheaded and it's like this weird hairdo. Yeah. But then he's got this suit on. They always look nice for some odd
They do.
reason.
Well,
So,
evil masterminds. They got lots of
They
time
got
and money.
some personal respect.
Yep.
and then the hunters.
It's all about
were,
the image.
Hunters were back, and it was cool to see
Oh,
them
right.
again. But the things on the boat are nasty.
Yeah.
I ran into some really gross ones on there. Like a big one. It's big, and it's heads, and it's very thing. Like
I mean,
the movie
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Isn't the big thing about the game? It's kind of like, is it filling gaps between games, or is it telling?
Yeah, it's between
prequel
4 and
story or
5.
something like that.
I think it's telling what happens between 4 and 5.
See, Resident Evil lost me story wise a long time.
Yeah.
I just don't care about it.
I like
but
4
but
and
I
I
feel
like
like that's a lot of their. They try to promote that a lot.
The story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What
Like the lore.
happened?
The lore.
What happened immediately after that? What happened before it?
You don't know what happened. What's the conspiracy that even made this happen?
And I'm like,
Wasn't there with the
I
one?
don't know,
I'm like,
story?
apparently it's the same people who get involved in the same
some
thing.
crazy bullshit, I'm sure.
But Codename Veronica, didn't it take place during one of the other
Yeah.
games? So,
Yes,
it
because
took-
it was like a different character.
Yeah, and then she saw the other people leaving.
I think it was 3.
I think
took place at the same time as
during
3.
yeah.
Man,
Three
they
is
should,
the last one I actually.
they should do a
enjoyed.
game that takes place during this one that takes place during 4 and 5. How much more can we drill down?
I know. Well, and
Remember in
and
this
it does
game when
feel-
your character had to go to the bathroom? This is what happened during that.
it
It's a
does feel
5-hour game.
impenetrable in that sense to me.
Yeah.
Story wise, and
Yeah.
I feel like they feel like it's a big deal that the story is there. And I'm like, ugh,
And really, all it does is just keeps getting more and more diluted every time they throw something like this in there.
convoluted.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah,
like-
yeah. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
convoluted, and they wash out the overall product.
yeah,
though,
exactly.
Too, you know?
No, I
So-
agree. I
And
agree.
this boat that you're in is almost there's some it's like the mansion from Resident Evil. Like
Yeah,
when
it
you're
is.
walking through it, I'm like, I could probably take a right here and I'm gonna end up in the library. And then I was like, so it's weird in that aspect.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of like weirded out when I'm walking through because I'm like, have I been here before, or have
Yeah.
I been here before in
Yeah.
another game? So
And I know I went past a door that said there's an anchor-shaped symbol on the door. I'm
Right.
like, oh great, can't wait to find that anchor key.
yeah. I saw.
Glad that they same
Apparently,
old shit.
I saw-
everybody,
Same old shit.
everybody in authority in the Resident Evil universe is slightly deranged
Yeah.
and feels the need to make thematic
Well,
puzzles.
obviously this ship was made by the same people that own that fucking
Raccoon
mansion.
City.
and towns.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know
That's
what?
some of
At
the
the
town
end of all
titles.
this, what if we find out that it's the guy from Lucky Charms?
Maybe it is arcade. It turns out to be an
totally-
elaborate murder world.
What if it all is down to the Lucky Charms guy, and that's why everything is all moon and star and heart shaped, and so he's like all obsessed with it.
But I'll tell you
You
what.
just open a room and it's just
Gonna
filled
take
with
my Lucky Charms
it's
now.
filled with cereal.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't expecting to have like the puzzler in here compared to some of the other Resident Evil games I've been playing lately, because that's not what they have been.
Yeah.
But when I walked into a room that had a shotgun strapped to the wall and it's like, you gotta find the key, and then when I got the medallion, no matter what I had going on, I beeline to that room to get that shotgun. Even though I had to backtrack there later, about 10 minutes later, to go past that room to get out of where I was
That's
at.
Resident Evil 3 for me.
I'm going back to get it.
I'm getting it. So
Nice.
I'm enjoying it.
It's making you feel a little old school.
glad.
Yeah, it's I think I'm looking for those games that are just kind of just keep me playing.
Cool.
And this one does it. So
Awesome sauce.
How about that Dead Island Riptide?
Yeah.
Does that make you feel old school?
a little bit.
It makes me feel like Dead Island.
It makes me. It makes.
Not really old school.
It makes me feel like
2 years ago.
Left 4 Dead. Especially
Yeah.
when we were playing it the other night. Now I know where the Riptide comes from. It's the Riptide of zombies coming after you.
That's right. So
Especially if you play with more than one person.
I feel that this game opens up completely terribly. I enjoy playing it, but I think that the opening is really bad. They start you on a ship that's kind of getting rocked in the water, and so you're kind of maneuvering around. It's harder than shit to move around because the ship is moving like all over the place, and it's completely opposite of how you open up the first game, if I remember right, because you kind of just open up in that island and you're free running, and that was immediately what sunk into me, or like sunk its hooks into me, was like, oh, I'm just running around this island and there's people everywhere and I can do whatever I want. And you have to play a little bit to get to that point in this game.
Yeah. Right.
And that was kind of a turnoff for me. I started playing it, and I quickly stopped.
Yeah.
I went back to it, got through that boat part, and that's when it kind of opens up to the island that you get to. And then I was right back in, and I didn't stop playing it since then. Because
wow.
I had a blast with it. I sat and played like hours.
Good.
And but the problem is, it's very Dead Island.
That's what I've heard.
They don't capitalize on changing anything really. Nothing. I mean, it's really down to almost all the basics. It's the same.
Is it that they're nailing the core idea? Don't broke what's not fixed. What? That was.
I don't think that's it.
What
Don't
the
broke.
hell?
Don't broke what's not fixed.
I did not sleep very well last
Break
night. I
what's
think it's
fixed,
finally
but don't.
catching up to me.
Have you slept in 4 days?
What the hell was that came out of my mouth?
You said don't broke what's not fixed.
I know. That's
The old caveat.
the old
that old chestnut.
That old chestnut. Don't be broken what's not fixed.
Line the silver cloud with the ing.
I don't know, because they did have pretending you said the thing right. I feel that there were some things from the first game that were probably broken that they could have fixed, and that they didn't, and that they didn't. You know, there are some issues. It almost looks identical. You're just in a different setting that sort of looks the same, but it's a little different.
Yeah.
But not much. And really all that they've changed that I've noticed is ramping everything up. So adding spots where there's nonstop regenerating zombies, I don't remember that from the first game at all.
At all. You would clear it out.
Clear out areas.
Yeah.
There's a certain area that you kind of have to traverse through multiple times.
It's the push through thing, like
Left 4 Dead too.
Call of Duty 4 did that.
where they would just keep coming.
There was a room where
And there's this area that you have to traverse through back and forth repeatedly. And there's those running crazy ones that would run at you, and you can't ever all take them all out. They just keep coming, a couple at a time. They're spaced out. It's not like the Left 4 Dead where you get, the numbers of people, but they're nonstop. It's persistent.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of that. I kind of liked clearing out areas and kind of getting stuff. And then if you leave and come back, they would have regenerated or they repopulate. And that still happens. But I liked being able to slow down and stop for a while. And there's really not an option for that in this one that I've experienced so far. There's some areas that are, but
yeah, I found that was the big thing that got me when I hit the island.
yeah.
I ran into some areas, so I sat back to try to take them down, and I'm like, okay, this ain't fucking happening.
Well, we did that when we did co-op too. I'm like, well, let's clear these guys out. And I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to stop, so let's just move through. I'm moving.
And then they don't show up anymore.
Right. It's just if you're in that area.
Yep. It was just like, because then like you brought up the Call of Duty. I think it was that television room that got stuck in one fucking time. I was like, how do I get out of this area?
When do people stop coming?
Yeah, I was like,
don't.
And then I'm like, oh, I got to get in that room back there.
You got to touch the line.
Yeah. It's like, not it.
And
yes, ollie oxen free.
You can carry over your character from the first game, or you.
Interesting.
It's the 4 characters that they because the 4 characters.
Was there skills in the first game? I never played the first game.
Yeah, you get experience points and you can put it into skills.
Okay.
And you can carry over your character, but I don't know if it carries over skill wise or if it carries over just your level. So your like ability. I can't remember exactly what it carries over, but you do have to start over with building your skills, I think, again.
I see.
Because I thought I carried over, but maybe I didn't because I picked that new guy.
I don't know.
Because it's the 4 characters from the first game and then they add in a new character.
Yeah.
We both own the first game, right?
Yes.
We both bought it.
I bought it because it was dirt cheap.
Right, me too. And then I never played it after I bought it.
I haven't opened it.
I played the fuck out of it when I rented it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this because I love it.
Yeah.
And then I never played it again.
Agreed.
But I don't need to because I have the
shocked.
second one.
Yeah.
See this look on my face? Shock.
Exactly. But the new character I'm playing with
Yes.
is awesome, and I don't really know I don't know if those trees are different for the different characters. I think they are because like the one lady has blade skills, so I think her stuff is different. And this guy has like a kick ability that is like way powerful. And I don't know if you can get
Does
that
she
with
get
everybody.
two-handed weapon skill?
I think
to
so.
unlock that?
Something like that.
I always love. I've learned how to hold something in my other hand.
In my other hand. Well, I can do better things with my right than my left.
Wait a
right?
minute. They should start someone off where you're like you carry your weapon in your left hand and you can unlock the right hand skill. Dummy, you're right-handed.
That'd be funny. At the very beginning, ask you how left or right-handed, so then you put right, and then it gives you left-handed skill, and you're like, wait, what?
I'm no good with this sword. So the new guy though, and I don't know if his kick abilities go through everybody, but the one that I have with him is awesome because you can run at people and use your kick button, and they go flying.
They're gone.
It is awesome. And like I like kicking them into things like rocks, and then their heads bust open, and so then you take them out with the damage that they take from hitting other things, or you kick them and their leg flies off.
So is it a little bullet stormy?
Well, it's always been that way, where
okay.
it's really
Like I
ultra
said, I haven't
violent
played it.
and over the top, kind of.
Yeah.
And I remember kicking them before, but I don't remember the power kick.
I think the mechanic in there too. They've really put in just the inertia. I want to say not inertia, but physics. The physics are in it a little bit. I think a little bit more so than they were in the first one. Because there was some stuff where I was just laughing because like one would get hit against the wall, and of course the walls it was a door that was gonna open, so it got stuck in it. But it didn't like kill the game, but it's just neat stuff that happens.
How about when we were co-oping it and you had your nail gun out?
Yeah.
Because I do love the nail gun. You can shoot them and then you can take the nails back out of them.
Right.
So you get your ammo back. But I ran up and power kicked a guy and he went flying. And as he was flying away, Sean nail gun behind me, he shot him and the guy got shot as he was in front of me. And so that killed him. And it was awesome. So then he's dead up ahead with the nail gun sticking out of his head. And then I loved coming up on my nail gun spot, or I had shot at a guy and missed him, and then I walked up later and there's like a tree and it's got my nail sticking in it.
Yeah.
So I had totally hit this tree, this like really small tree, but I thought it was lost forever.
Yeah.
It was a miracle.
The miracle?
It was. It was awesome. There's just so much about that game that is fun.
Yeah.
And it is a lot more fun when we play together, I thought.
What they did with this one, you could argue that, hey, why didn't they just do it like a DLC? But no, they've added to this game, and especially those zombie parts where they just come and it's just like you had to get through there. And then there's other options. Like I found myself going to rooftops a little bit more, or trying to get above them and trying to get so they don't see me anymore.
Yeah, you know what? There wasn't a lot of that going on in the first game either because you didn't have those areas. It was kind of open area. This is like in this little shanty town where there's all these buildings and you can go up to different levels. Yeah. So you can do that. You can traverse to different levels.
It almost felt a little linear in this fact of where you could go, where now you can kind of jump over some things that you couldn't do before. Which then I'm sitting there trying to jump over something and it's like not allowing me to it.
Right.
So it's kind of gave a little leeway.
And the co-op stuff, I love that you share all the items, like because we can both pick up the items. They're on both of our screens, and you don't steal them from either person. The money's all shared, I believe, so any money you get goes to both people. And they've somehow, and I don't know how this works, but they scale the enemies so that when we join games, the enemies on your game that you're playing are on your level, and the enemies on my game are on my level.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how that balances when you're doing both, like attacking the same guy.
Yeah.
But I think it's just weighted with, okay, this guy does this amount of damage to this guy.
Right, percentages rather than actual
And I think
numbers.
that's brilliant. I love that they do that and not just try to like, oh, whoever's the lowest, it goes down to that level, or whoever's the highest, you go up to that level.
Right.
Because you were playing, you were probably, I don't know what level you were on, but
I was lower,
but I'm fighting guys that are level 30.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was nice because you didn't have to worry about compensating for one person or the other. So that's a really smart balance.
That
I
is
like
very
that.
nice.
I don't know how they figure that out, but it's awesome. Science. Math.
I bet it was more
Math,
physics,
they're awesome.
more inertia.
So I'm having a blast with it. If you haven't played the first one, I recommend highly. It's a fun game to run around and do shit with. It's one of those things where things happen and it's just funny.
Are you talking about the
you
first
have
one
those-
or this one?
If you haven't played the first one, then I definitely recommend this. If you played the first one,
Oh,
it's
I
not
see.
doing much
I
different.
see.
So
I see.
if you haven't played any of them, go with Dead Island. This one,
Yeah, go with this one.
Riptide.
Yep.
Because it's pretty much the same experience, but made a little bit better, arguably, probably. Story-wise, to me, this game still doesn't do anything. The first one didn't do anything. This one's not doing anything. That's not why I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they really appreciate that when they work on the story. But the folks that did work on the story, but I think they kind of also know where the fun's at with this game.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of fun to run around and cause chaos and see what happens from those scenarios.
It's odd that these aren't characters that these characters are getting hurt and scratched and blood on them. They won't turn because they just
Right.
they're
immune.
They're immune. So I that's a neat look at it. A neat look at that side of it. And so then your brain's not like, why can I get scratched and all this stuff? And
Because you don't have to worry about
the
it.
zombie nerd in you, it's like, this isn't real. They're immune.
Yes.
There you
So
go.
I'm going to continue playing it
Spoiler.
because I'm knee deep into it now. I mean, I just have fun running around. So
Awesome.
cool.
We're killing zombies.
Killing them.
Finish up with Metro Last Light.
Yeah, Craig
Or
gets to
wait.
finish.
Why don't we do Fast and Furious?
Oh, I forgot about Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
What if we want
sorry
to close
that-
on that?
Why do you want to close on that? Because this might be pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
Let's
Fast and
hope.
So we
Furious.
have Fast and Furious campaign. I've been going through a lull with my gaming lately. Like some games just don't keep me.
Yeah.
And like I've been looking at some of my racing games, and those games keep me. So when I went and saw this game on the shelf, and I remember reading, and I swear I read that I think it was early on when we were doing our like looking forward to whatever you have this year, 2013. I looked at what this game was going to be about, and what you're doing is essentially races from the movies.
Sounds awesome.
The campaign. The campaign, no drifting yet. The campaign starts off when
sounds
you're like
terrible.
these two agents. I think they're from the movie 6.
Okay.
Because one looks like the Haywire chick, the MMA fighter chick
I
from
don't know.
Haywire. I forgot her name. She's awesome. It looks like her, kind of. Voice acting's terrible.
Do they have the actual people? Or
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No. So then, because if that was Luda, then I don't know who. So then they're
yeah,
like,
Luda's known for his awesome voice acting.
well, you should hear this stuff. So they're like after Vin, they're looking into Vin Diesel's gang, but there's also this other gang, and they're more
Vin Diesel.
No, well, I don't know what his name is, like Carletto or something like that. I think it is.
Coronetto.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
and
snap.
So they're like, so then.
Coronetto is an ice cream truck.
Oh, okay.
So there's also this
fucking know.
there's also this other gang, and they're more mercenaries, and they don't live by the code that Vin Diesel's gang lives by and Paul Walker's gang. I don't know. So The
I
Rock
live by Vin Diesel's code.
and The Rock is after both of them. Damon Wayne, not Damon Wayne.
What?
What's
The
his
Rock.
name? What's his name? What's
Dwayne Johnson.
I think you brought the wrong notebook. Is that your fan fiction
Yeah,
notebook?
this is
Is
my
that what's
fan
happening?
fiction.
Damon Wayne.
I'm
Your
totally-
Fast and the Furious
I'm
fan
totally
fiction.
filibustering this goddamn thing. This is my Fast and the Furious movie.
He's like,
it starts
talking about Metro today.
Tatooine.
The Rock.
Jabba's palace. He's got his
The Rock, Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans is The Rock. I would like that.
Hated it.
So they're after them.
Yes.
And so they show the first mission, and it's like they talk about when they pulled that giant safe through Rio de Janeiro in one of the movies.
Okay.
So you got to do that, which was really kind of cool because like you have this safe, and then it would like hit you.
Finally, you can relive all the excitement from all the Fast and Furious movies.
Exactly, and that's what this is. And
Wow.
that's about all it is. I thought the game, like the I couldn't get used to the car.
Controls?
I couldn't used to it. It was like, like when you go off, I was talking about this when you can do it in other games too. When you go off at jumps, you can move the car in the air, which makes no sense, but you can do it. It happens in most games. This one, all of a sudden, the front end just goes to the left or right automatically. It's not a gradual. It's your car turns that way in midair. I thought it was a little weird. There is some other parts of the game. It's not all racing. Some of them is where you got to hijack a truck, which I liked about it. That was like the cool part of the game because you get out of the car and then you got to do a button press to, balance yourself. Then you jump onto the truck and then you hijack it.
Yeah.
So that part was kind of neat. But other than that, the music for it was terrible.
Is it licensed music? Is it like official?
I hope not. I mean, I don't have my pulse on top 40 nowadays,
Yeah.
and I don't listen to that stuff a lot. But this stuff was bad. This was bad. But they had other things involved. You can you earn points to get like decals and paint jobs for your cars. You win cars and stuff like that. I don't know. There's some challenges involved with it. There's like a challenge mode to it too, where you had to go through these speed cameras fast. Some of that stuff was really neat, but in the end, it just was. I don't know. Like the music was terrible.
I think I know what it is. In the end,
yeah,
it's a Fast and Furious game.
But the racing, it hurt my feelings. It's like
It personally offended you.
usually I can kind of get the hang, even like even the hardcore like racing games like Forenza and like where it's really sticky and I can do those games. But this one, it was like I felt like I'd have control, or like you'd see a car coming over the hill, and I'd be getting in the other lane because I'm trying to boost my points by driving in on traffic.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's hitting me. Like, there was, like, the weird judging. Like, I don't know.
I'm going to guess because it's probably not very good.
That might be the reason.
I like how you're, like, holding it up to, like, I like these hardcore racing games.
Well, no,
Why isn't Fast and Furious
no, I'm
game
just
like
saying.
Like, Forza is, like, awesome, but this is...
Even Grand Theft Auto, the driving in that fucking sucks, but I can win a race in that.
Right.
And this...
So this is worse, Craig.
And this it's
worse driving.
Not worse driving, but there's some moments where it's a little like, fuck you. Like, you get pissed at it. Like, how did that car hit me? So
some detection issues, maybe?
Yeah.
Some collision issues?
Yeah. But I loved, some of these missions are kind of funny because they steal stuff and they have their dialogue back and forth, and I have no idea what they're talking about.
Is Michelle Rodriguez in it?
I think she's part of the mercenary gang.
Do you get to kill her?
No.
I don't want to.
The story continues, and I haven't continued
That
it.
sounds awesome.
You take these cars and you flip all these cars in Moscow. I think that's from the movie. That part was pretty cool.
You flip them, like you get them and then you kind of redetail them.
No. You're in a Formula One racer that's got metal to pretty much make it like this little bullet.
It's a wedge.
So you just choom choom and cars are jumping over you.
Sounds good.
That's pretty cool. The racing part, not so
much.
All the other stuff involved, and it's kind of beats you over the head, the same stuff each time. So, and one I had to drag a car. Luda was dragging me in a car, and I was shooting people. It was really weird. So then Luda's like, "Oh, my bad," as the car gets flipped because it's like a yo-yo.
Weird.
Check it out.
Well, let me know how that new movie is.
Okay. After I rented in 2 months? Well, 3 weeks probably.
3 weeks when it goes straight
4
to
weeks, yeah.
DVD.
They're already making the 7th one.
It makes billions of dollars. It's
the coolest car commercials you ever seen.
I'm sure.
If they could do all the car chases from the Fast and Furious movies and just loop them, probably on YouTube. Never mind.
YouTube it.
I'm sorry about that.
You're done.
Done.
You're done.
Because I would watch that.
Awesome.
All right. Now shall we talk about Metro Last
I don't know.
Light?
Are you done? Fast and Furious? How does it
Was
compare
that
to
fast
Fast and
enough?
Furious?
I didn't play Fast and Furious. I don't feel
Showdown, guys. Showdown. Fast and Furious Showdown. Come on.
Sorry, Showdown.
Show some respect.
Show Dick some respect.
Show Dick some respect.
All right, sorry.
All right.
Metro. Yes, let's talk about it.
From 4A Games.
Craig gets to close out a show with a disc game.
I do.
Where are we
Crazy.
at? What is this alternate reality?
Roles reversed.
We're in the reality where we got a review copy, which allowed me to do this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No. But actually, I was actually excited about this game. So
You were. It was a
really,
legit.
I was very thrilled that we got a review copy to be able to do this with, because I rather enjoyed. This is a sequel to Metro 2033, which came out 2-3 years ago now. I can't
Something
remember.
like that.
Yeah.
Was beloved by a section of the
A
population,
group of people. It had its fan base. It was a cult hit.
and I think everyone kind of said this is good, but.
Oh, okay. Was that predominant?
I think that was predominant.
Okay.
And the big reason was the shooting aspect of it was kind of a little rough.
Okay.
Now it's set in this post-apocalyptic Russia in Moscow. Bombs fell on Moscow, and a section of the population fled into the metro system, their subway system, and it's been many years since, and so they've kind of developed their own. I mean, they still have to hide down there from the radiation and the mutants, the animal mutants that are up on the surface now, and so thematically, being set in Russia, being set in a post-apocalyptic world, it's very dire. And so tonally, it wasn't really, not that shooters are generally cheery, but you generally feel very heroic and all of that. But that's one of the things that I really liked about the first game, Metro 2033, was it was a very tangible world. Like, you would walk around. It's a world that encourages you to kind of stop when you go into a town, and instead of just kind of going to the next checkpoint and advancing the story, it encourages you to kind of stop there and listen to two NPCs kind of have a conversation,
Right.
and all that stuff. And this game continues that great trend, and it makes me empathetic for the world, and that's one of the things I like about it, is that I criticize things that I do sometimes. Like, I'll do something and I'm like, oh, that was a stupid thing to do. But I don't say that because it's a game. I say that because I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? So there's this one part where I'm sneaking around and I'm trying to get past all these guards, and I go through this door and I turn around and there's a fucking dude like in front of me, like through the doorway, sitting on his cot, just kind of leaning up. He was reading a book, and I've just like kind of walked into like this room next to his bedroom, and he's
yes, I know exactly.
and he's looking at me, and the first thing I did is and I shot him in the head. And then, they have these flashes every once in a while when you kind of do particular moral things. But, even without that, I was kind of like, oh shit, because it was just kind of a panic reaction.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't expect the dude to be sitting there, and I shot him, and I actually felt really bad about
Exactly.
it.
I had the same experience. I'm not even joking, because it was fairly early in the game.
Yeah, it is.
And I did it, and I reacted, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should not have shot that guy.
I was like, the dude was just reading a book. There's not even any guns in here.
I might have been able to get past him.
I know. Even sneaking,
because I don't think I shot him. I think he saw me, and he was even giving up.
Oh, I didn't get that far. Yeah, he does that later, because I played through the level again.
And I still
later.
shot him.
You still shot him?
Yeah.
No,
but I was like, I thought maybe I had to. But as soon as I did it, I had the pangs of guilt.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I felt bad.
Well, I felt even.
That's awesome, though.
I felt even. I don't know, maybe even worse. But I had like Gunslinger reactions there, because he just kind of put his book down and kind of saddled up on his elbows on his cot, and it was just kind of looking at me quizzically, and I just shot him in the face, from 8 feet away. And then I'm like, why did I do that? What is wrong with me?
Well, we did establish last episode that you just kill people.
I do.
And don't think about it, remember?
Correct. Yes, in real life.
That's right. But yeah, it's a great moment. I mean, it speaks to the heart and the way that. And there's probably
there's a lot more.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Anytime you have moral decisions like that, or just reactionary decisions that make you think a minute, and take pause. And it says a lot about the game, because you don't do that in a lot of other shooter games. You're just shooting everybody, and you're like, whatever, I don't care. It tells you that you're invested in the story and how you were actually acting as a person.
It's a hard world for a lot of the people,
right?
And it sells that, and it really kind of influences the way that I play and the way that I perceive it. And so it's much more, it's one of those first person shooters where I feel almost like I'm playing an RPG, not with skills or anything, because there's no skill trees or anything to unlock, but
you're role playing it.
In terms of how do I do these things. Now I do want to say it is a little inconsistent in its theme.
Okay,
that is the primary theme. There are a few inconsistencies. And I've read some reviews about it, criticizing some of the aspects as trying to pander to get a wider audience, since the first one wasn't very critically received.
Okay.
And to get back to what I was saying, originally when we started talking, I talked about what people saw as a criticism for Metro 2033. The combat has been really balanced in a different way in the player's favor.
Nice.
Shooting is much more precise, and stealth is so goddamn powerful. If you're not trying to use stealth as much as possible, then, well, you're just throwing bullets away, basically.
Because you can get by with it.
It's fucking ridiculous, because, you're Batmaning these people. I can be as long as you're crouched down in the dark, and then they even put a thing on your watch that now is a light sensor that tells you whether you're in shadow or not.
Nice.
As long as that's not lit up, you can fucking walk directly in front of a dude and, sneak. Sometimes I would walk around dudes in like a 180-degree arc trying to find the right spot to knock them out, waiting until it activated, like in front of them. So while I find that actually is very good to make it easier for the player to kind of get through their story, I think that was one of the difficulties. And I may have even said that about 2033 as one of the unfortunate things is that it can be difficult to progress through the story, which is its big drawing point. At the same time, it does also break the immersion a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, if you make a noise, then they're going to go investigate it. They're going to turn on their headlamp, too. So you're like, oh, fuck. I was doing that just today. I was playing a little bit today, actually, and I was walking across like these beams above these guards because I was trying to sneak past them. Fucking slipped off the thing, landed like a foot behind a dude, and he's like, what's that? And he starts turning around, and I'm like crouch running as fast as I can out of the way as he, and just get out of the area as he turns on his headlamp. So that... There was some pretty cool tense stuff.
And it fits to the stuff where you can unscrew light bulbs, you can shoot out lights, you can make shadow.
Reminds me of the old Thief games.
Yeah, so I mean, you can totally hide yourself too, or help your environment, or by the environment changes.
Yes. Yeah, you can do that. You can distract guards too by like shooting things off of an area. Now you have to be careful because you don't want to set them off too much. Like you don't want to spook them too much because then they're just going to call the alarm.
Right.
But I was talking about inconsistencies. There are a few tonal inconsistencies for the story as well. The sexy parts in particular. Game makers.
Oh, are there sexy parts?
There are sexy parts. Game makers, please don't put sexy parts in a first-person game. It's very. It's very odd.
It sounds awesome.
And it makes it very awkward if there are other people in the room. No matter how much you're like, I'm turning my brain off at this point and not really paying attention. It leaves an impression with
people. Do people have sex?
There's no sex on screen.
Yeah.
There's a foot on the floor.
There is a lead up to sex with a breast hanging out.
Nice. Nudity?
Spoiler.
Hanging out.
Yeah, there's nudity in it.
Yay.
A breast hanging
Spoiler.
out.
Don't even. Okay. And then. All right. Spoiler here.
No, don't ruin
It's not
anything.
a spoiler.
It's a spoiler.
It's
You
not
already
a
ruined
spoiler.
that there's a boob hanging out.
It's not a. There's a part where you have to track the bad guys into like this bordello. And so you're hiding, and then like a prostitute comes up trying to solicit you, and so then she's talking, but you're like standing outside the door trying to listen in on these guys. So so you kind of hand over her mouth and hide her in a room because they're going to be coming out, and so then they come out. And my first imperative after they got up the stairs was, fuck, I gotta go follow them and find out where they're going.
Right.
At which point the game allows you to then give military grade bullets to the prostitute for her to do topless lap dances for you.
It's like probably not needed.
Hey, I'm listening to these guys. Just calm down. Just calm down. I'm listening to these guys.
Well, like, I got a minute.
Oh, they're leaving.
Well,
they're leaving? Okay, here's some bullets.
Let me just sit down. Watch you do this.
I'll catch back up with them. I just wanted to listen to what they were saying. That's it.
That's not such a big deal. Man,
That's weird.
I know it's ridiculous stuff, and everybody's kind of calling them out on it.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at reviews, a lot of them will mention that sort of stuff. Now, I do have to mention that there were parts when I was playing through it where I'm like, oh, this story is going like 8 million different directions with subplots and things. It does all come together fairly well at the end. There are still some other weak things where there's a woman at the beginning, and then she vanishes for most of the game and then comes back later and she's all in love with you. And I'm like, oh, so we're just going to skip this part where I actually build an emotional attachment.
you actually
to her.
get
We're just
a
going to go
relationship?
straight to that, huh?
You gave her the most bullets.
Yeah.
No, completely different one.
Does she have a titty out?
No. Well, later.
She got a titty out.
Oh, my goodness. This is another reason, Game Makers, why you shouldn't put this in here, because then I have to have a conversation with these fuckers
Right.
about it, and they're going to turn into 12-year-old boys.
We're having fun. I'm not turning into anything. I've always been.
This is a good point. You are.
I can't believe how much.
This is real.
Can't believe how much restraint we've shown
Yeah, exactly.
heretofore.
You said titty a couple times. So it took me a while to chime in with my titty.
Stop saying titty.
Titty, bang, bang.
I think
Okay,
no.
I'm done.
I think we met our quota.
That was it.
We're only allowed so many. We're done.
I'm sorry.
But the game is still very enjoyable. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Now,
Just as an experience, you'd liked it a lot.
Yes.
Cool.
I mean, I think it feels, except for the few tonal inconsistencies, when I started up, got into it for like 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, this is just like continuing on with Metro. Now, one weird thing, though, is that at the end of Metro 2033, this is not really a spoiler, but you make a decision. And so the game happens directly after that. You're with the same character, Artyom, from the first game.
Assuming you made one decision, I
Yeah,
guess.
it assumes one decision. And it wasn't my first choice decision.
Okay.
So, that was a little jarring, but, it made complete sense because it's such a big part of what happened that you'd have to basically make a completely different game to go in the other way.
Now, I played a little bit of it as well because I enjoyed a lot what I checked out on the review copy that we got.
Yeah.
And the thing that I found about it is, like you said before, and like you said, was maybe a complaint for some people. The gameplay was a lot easier this time around, and I enjoyed that. It definitely pulled me in a lot further than the first game because I kind of dropped off 2033 pretty quickly because it was a lot of resource management.
Right.
You were really short on some of your ammo, and like conserving and getting around and doing things was kind of difficult in some areas. And that wasn't the case with this. And so I could see the the complaint on the other side, on the hardcore side of like, well, now there's ammo everywhere. You can have ammo.
It's not, and there are different difficulties as well. And can't avoid talking about this. It's a sore spot for a lot of people. Day one DLC or pre-order bonus of Ranger difficulty modes. Now, if I remember correctly, Ranger modes were DLC for Metro 2033 as well, but I can't remember if they charged for them or not.
Okay.
But here it's $5 or unless you pre-ordered it. Now, we did get a copy of that with our review copy. So I did check it out. Now, basically what it does is the difficulty switch up. I'm not sure how different it is from playing hardcore.
Okay.
Enemies do more damage, but you also do more damage. It's an equal switch up.
Nice.
Bullets are more scarce, and that is true because I'm going through on a no-kill run, and so all I'm using is my silenced pistol to take out light bulbs and things. And there were a couple times, except for mutants, you can kill mutants. So I have shotguns and stuff like that. And there were a couple times where I ran out of bullets, and I was like, well, it looks like I'm going to be stabbing these spider bugs instead. I'm like, shine my light at them.
Not good.
Shine my light at them. Oh, they flipped over. Stab you in the belly.
I'm out.
They skitter around.
At all. But then you get like spiders on the screen.
I love the
'cause they're on your
sound
face
design
mask.
too.
Oh no!
I like the face mask stuff. I mean, there's really a lot
you
of
have
immersion.
to wipe off the face mask.
There's so
and
much
stuff.
immersion in the game, and that was strong with the first one, and it's strong with this one too. And I like that they kept a lot of that stuff. And you're walking around that spider area, and you have the little spiders run across your face mask thing, and that's kind of awesome. It's gross.
Someone would break the TV. You'd see one crawl and it'd be like, oh wait.
It's gross, but it's awesome. I like it a lot.
It is pretty great.
So, but playing,
It's a nice touch.
I was drawn in a lot more to this version because I think it's a lot more
it's accessible.
Yeah, accessible to the normal people.
But I was talking about Ranger mode.
Normal
I was talking about Ranger mode.
the common folk.
Another thing with Ranger mode is that they minimize the HUD.
Yeah.
And so I think with Ranger Hardcore, there's nothing. Like you can't even find out how many bullets you have.
Oof.
But
But like count.
Yeah, so there's like no. But I'm playing on regular Ranger, and so there's no crosshairs. I don't get to see. Actually, I don't think I see my bullet totals either. I don't know. But like on Ranger Hardcore, like you can't even bring up the little menu to show which direction to press on the D-pad to switch to different thrown weapons. Like
Huh,
you just
so you
kind of
just
have
gotta
to know.
remember?
Yeah, which isn't too hard. It's like
Right,
4
right.
directions.
Yeah.
But
Still.
but you wouldn't
that they
know
take
how many
everything
you have.
away.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's, it is kind of fun that way. But and a lot of people are sore that it's basically just a difficulty / HUD modification.
Yeah.
That they're charging for.
But if they bought the game, they won't have to worry about it, right?
If they pre-ordered the game.
Oh, it's a pre-order bonus.
It was a pre-order bonus or
Okay.
$5.
Gotcha.
I think a $5 download. Now, with that download, it's not just that. You also do unlock another assault rifle that is available early, and you start off with like 200 military-grade bullets, which is the currency in the game.
Okay.
So
There's a couple other bonuses. So,
yeah.
So there's a couple other things that don't matter.
I think that
there.
really tries to justify. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. And they are going to have DLC stuff that's going to extend the single player, because there's no multiplayer in the game.
Yep.
Single player stuff, and in addition, not just like get a new gun or put a skin on your gun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dead Space. But actual story stuff that they might add. So I'm liking it a lot. I'm playing through again already. Looking forward to playing through some more as well. The only issue I had was they didn't improve the gameplay, but there were times where I felt like I've pumped like 8 shotgun shells into this one mutant dog rat thing, and then another one runs up and I shoot him once and he's dead. I'm like, what is going on here?
I was noticing that on a couple of things I was
Yeah.
even doing with some of those mutant things, where some of them I would take, and I was just attributing it to where I was hitting them.
I
maybe.
think that's what it is.
But a couple times I was
hard
it
for
seemed
me
like
to
they
tell.
die right away, and then I'd waste a bunch of bullets after that because I didn't know they were dead.
Yeah.
And then other ones I would shoot them and then like be all scarce about it, and they jump at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you should be dead by now. So it seemed a little weird to me on that level too.
Yeah, I think that might be part of the difficulty there.
Yeah.
It is very much sort of survival horror in a lot of senses, in that you have scarce resources and you have to manage them well, and things will be a little scary and creepy. Great sound design. They have a new engine for this now. They also with the review copy, they actually sent us a one for the PC as well.
Yeah.
However, I cannot run it because this thing is
ridiculous.
a beast. It looks pretty darn good on the 360 as well. The lighting effects in particular are great, and some great details there. But I've seen some screenshots from high-end PCs. Ugh. I am not one who is all about the graphics, but some gorgeous stuff going on there.
Man, imagine what that boob looks like.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Their boob physics need some work, though.
Maybe it does on the PC.
Is that adjustable? Is that a slider?
You better get that PC upgraded.
Oh, my goodness.
Nothing sells it like that.
They got to go to learning to fly with the little gelatinous cube thing that was going around the place from Epic.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was?
What's this? I don't know.
The gelatinous cube.
Gelatinous cube. I don't know either.
The D&D monster?
So you highly recommend it?
Yeah.
Highly recommended?
I like it a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
You and your first-person shooters, Craig.
I know.
Settle down.
It's a first person.
First-person shooter episode.
Wow.
Well, and here's the thing: it's not constant just running from room to room shooting things. There's a lot of exploration.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of atmosphere going on.
Character growth.
And there's more exploration in here. When you're on the surface, there's a lot more open areas where you can kind of just explore around, and you'll find like corpses huddled in certain positions, and they kind of tell a little bit of a story and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, I love all those aspects. There are a few inconsistencies. Like where I've just finished winning back this teddy bear for this crying child so I can give it back to him, and then a lady solicits me for sex. But not in a sort of desperate way, like, oh, I have to feed my family. It's like, hey, big boy. And then just kind of
saw you help that child out.
Just kind of dancing around. I'm like, I'm going to go over here where these communists are. Okay.
So it sounds like maybe if they would have gotten rid of all the sexual stuff, you would have enjoyed it a lot more.
It would have
It seems a little forced.
It did seem forced,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like we have to put this in.
Definitely. And you couldn't skip cutscenes.
Oh.
So you had to see it.
Yes.
Games that do
You
that.
wanted to see
Seriously. That makes no sense to me.
It's 2013.
I know.
Let me skip your fucking cutscene.
I'm sorry, this is where you're loading. Why don't you just say loading then?
No. These are cuts. These are plot. I mean, well, not all of them are plot, but
Because sometimes that's what's happening.
Yeah, sometimes they're hiding, loading stuff.
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, cool.
Yes.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Craig.
Correct.
Glad you enjoyed a disc game. Can't wait for the next one.
It will be GTA 5.
Yes, it will.
In the year 2020 when I finally get around the point.
You're playing it this year.
Fuck
You're
that.
finishing it this year.
Fuck that.
You got Red Dead Redemption to finish
I'll burn
this
it.
year.
I'll burn it. I'll burn it.
Don't burn it.
I'll burn it down.
unplayed.
You got Red Dead to finish this year, right?
I do.
That's going to happen?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Can I just play?
Who am I to talk?
Can I play Gunslinger 8 times over and pretend it was
You
Red
cannot.
Dead? No.
No, you can't. All right, that's it. We're done. SignInPodcast.com is our website. Find links to our Facebook page, all of our past episodes, our forums, all the other Pseudo Radio shows. You can find me on Twitter at SignedInPodcast. You can find Craig on Twitter at
Prof_Dresser.
And Sean.
Shonix.
Yeah, boy.
Biggity bam.
You can email us anytime at comments@signedinpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you over there.
Forget the peanut butter and jelly. I want a jam.
You got a question? You got a comment?
Yes.
I can probably answer those. Some of them. I will address your comment. I will answer your question.
You answer comments?
I will. Well, most
Do
of
you
them are
review
probably
comments?
Comments are probably. We could, if we got a bunch, I would review them on the show. I would go, thank you, Andrew, for that comment. You kind of sound like a dick. That's an advanced preview for you. Preview of a review.
You shouldn't have put a
Preview,
name
preview.
in there, and we could have just filled it in each
Well,
time.
we could still do that.
I
I could voice
preview.
over. Douglas, Tom,
Jared.
Jared. I'll just cut
Scott.
all those and put it over
Yeah,
there.
now all these people are at home. Wait, that's my name.
Next episode,
They centering me out.
that Fuse game's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm sure one of us will check it out, if not both of us.
Well, I need to play it and not be the medic, so
That's true.
found that out.
And Zen,
Glad you learned something today.
Zen's got a new XBLA game coming out that's not a pinball game. They've got
yeah?
Castle Storms coming out, and I think we have a review copy of that.
Nice.
So we'll have that next episode as well.
Nice. I'm not familiar with that.
You will be.
I'll have some.
Okay, then.
That's a threat.
I'm totally
Take that to the
finishing
bank.
Fast and Furious Showdown. I'm going to finish that bad boy.
You should do your own
nice.
Private chat.
show. Private chat.
Private chat.
Private chat. Meaning that nobody will fucking ever hear it.
One person party.
Nobody will
call
hear
that?
it.
People would too.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
They can't hear what's not recorded.
I will record it then.
You should.
I'm going to go off. I'm on my own.
And as a reminder, continue. I have more shows, or we've put up more shows on the YouTube channel as
Oh,
well.
that's right, yeah.
So subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to. If you don't, I guess don't worry about it. But it'd be great if you did.
You should tweet a highlight YouTube episode.
You should.
Once a week.
Tweet us your. Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
As marketing.
I want everybody else to tweet their favorite
Like it.
episode.
Yep.
I like that you can pinpoint the times though, so
Yeah.
I could
Oh,
I could
nice.
put out awesome moments.
There you go.
Hey, remember this? And it's just us talking about titties, right?
Which,
Now we're over.
every episode?
Now we're over quota.
You
Sorry,
can't say it
I
and then
ruined
not
it.
let me say it. That doesn't make any sense. You should have let me say it anyway.
we're done. I'm pulling the plugs.
Okay.
Did you bring enough to share with everyone? That's what he's saying.
Titties?
Totally. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, I better turn my vibrator off. So.
And your phone.
Hey, everybody! What's up with the vibrator jokes? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, vibrator.
Yeah, vibrator in the house.